Hi, welcome back guys. This is your friend, Lettuce Head Fanfics. Back with amazing fanfiction. This is the series of What If Deku Had Multi-Glitch Regen Quirk. Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. No one's POV. Izuku woke up excited because it was the day he would find out what his quirk is, obviously who the F wouldn't. He jumped out of bed, literally, and ran to Inko's room. Mom, wake up. I'm gonna find out what my quirk is. Izuku. Inko gets up and looks at Izuku and smiles. Good morning Zuzu, Inko. She picks him up and tickles him. Stop. That tickles. Izuku laughed out, is it supposed to burn? How about you get dressed, have breakfast and we'll go see what your quirk is? She picked up her phone to see the time. Your appointment is 10 a.m. and it is 6 a.m. so we have time. Now go get dressed, Inko. She put Izuku down and he went running to his room while she got out of bed, got dressed and went to make breakfast. Few minutes later Izuku ran to the table dressed, obviously, and waited for his breakfast. Mom, what quirk do you think I'll get? Izuku. After asking that, he started to think of all kinds of quirks that he wanted or thought he would get. I don't know, but whatever it is I'll be happy. She turned to Izuku and smiled at him, which she got in return. They were both sitting in the waiting room. Izuku, Midoriya? Nurse. Come on mom, it's our turn. Izuku. Hi Inko. They then followed the nurse to the quirk doctor. Good morning Dr. Inko. Inko greeted with a smile. Good morning to you too Ms. Midoriya, doctor. He greeted back with a smile as well. What else is he supposed to say? Yo, what's up? Now, what do you want to become when you're older, Izuku? Doctor. I want to be the greatest hero just like All Might. Izuku. Well, let's check your quirk now, doctor. After the doctor was finished, he asked Inko if she could step outside for a bit, and she then went out. Where must she then go? To the FNG moon. Izuku POV. I wonder why mom had to go out. Izuku, promise me you'll keep this a secret, doctor. He sounded serious. Why though? Promise. So, what's my quirk? He chuckled before explaining my quirk. The thing is you have multiple quirks, doctor. Say what now? Are you FING deaf? All I'm doing is ask questions. Yes. What are they? I semi-shouted in excitement. It's rare to get multiple, so it was very surprising for me. Don't blame me cause I'm not very good at explaining this, so yeah, grinning face with sweat. The first one has a few abilities. Shadow leap. You can go from one place to another but only in the shadows. Shadow manipulation. You can make whatever you want with shadows. Nightmare. If this ability is activated and you look someone in the eye, they'll see their biggest fear. Drop headaches, nosebleeds and insomnia, doctor. That quirk is I don't know how to describe it. This one also has abilities. Glitch. Teleportation. It's basically the same as Shadow Leap, but you can teleport anywhere and very far. You can make something malfunction, for example, someone shoots ice at you, you can turn it into fire or whatever you want. Drawback. If you don't control your emotions, you'll start glitching and teleport like crazy, and if overused you'll get a fever. Also your eyes will become glitchy, not very visible, but as you grow it will become visible. Doctor. I'm speechless. That's powerful. Voice manipulation. You have to sing a song to control them, but it has to be a specific song. Drawback. You can only control 100 people, and if overused you will lose your voice for a period of 5 to 7 days depending on how much you use this quirk. Doctor. I do like singing, so this quirk is pretty cool, and what makes it even more cooler is that I can control 100 people. Invisibility. You can pick at what time you want to go invisible and your clothes will go invisible. Expressionless face. Drawback. If you stay invisible for over 3 to 4 hours you'll stay invisible for the whole day, and once you turn back you'll be extremely tired. Regeneration. You will instantly heal. Drawback. It will only instantly heal when you turn 12, so it will heal slowly but get faster as you grow. The doctor took a quick breath, then looked at me. My eyes were wide. I then looked at him with my eyes still wide. So, you're telling me I have 5 quirks? I semi-shouted, being careful to not let mom hear cause I promised I wouldn't tell. Yes, And for your sake I'll tell your mom you're quirkless and remember it's for your safety, so stay strong. Fucker. I nodded, having tears in my eyes. Now you just have to act like you're sad, okay? Fucker. I nodded again. This would be my first time lying to Mom. I let my tears out and put a sad face on. Ms. Midoriya, you may come in. Fucker. Mom walked in and sat next to me and saw that I was crying, so she took me and hugged me. What happened to Izuku? Mom sounded concerned, but she also hesitated. I'm sorry to say, but your son is quirkless and I needed to have a chat with him. Fucker. Her face then turned from concern to shocked. Oh, I think we'll take our leave. Have a nice afternoon, Dr. Inko. She put me down and stood up. You too, Ms. Midoriya and Izuku, stay strong, Doctor. I nodded and Mom grabbed my wrist hard and we walked out of the hospital with me being dragged. This made me scared. Inko POV. Once I heard the word quirkless I was furious but hid it with shock. Once we were out I got to my car. I watched as the useless brat got in and so did I. I didn't want to help with his seatbelt, so I just put mine on and drove home. Slow down, I don't have Emma's seatbelt on, the brat. This brat is really annoying. Oh, shut up, brat. After telling him that, he was completely quiet. Once we got home, I got out of the car, opened the brat's door and dragged him inside. Once we were in I slammed the door close. I grabbed the brat's hair and threw him at the wall. From now on you call me ma'am, you will make me food and clean the house and walk to school. Do you understand? Yes, ma'am. The brat. Go clean the house before I cut you with a knife. He then got up and ran to get the broom. I'll make his life a living hell. Izuku is now 11 in middle school, nearly his 12th birthday, in the story, so don't attack me. Ever since he told Bakugou he was quirkless, he bullied him till now. Right now Izuku is in bed. Izuku POV. Right now I was in bed not wanting to get up and go to school after the beating from last night. Inko really did go all out? Yeah, I call her Inko, I mean she doesn't really take care of me, so what's the use calling her mom? Ever since I was 4 she would beat me up, but it got worse, and to make it much more worse is that my ex-best friend bullies me. My wounds haven't fully healed yet. What a great life I have. Bullshit. I slowly got up and got ready for school. I skipped breakfast and quietly tried to go to school, but life just hates me. And where do you think you're going? Not even gonna say goodbye. I froze in my tracks and slowly turned around to see my mother, not sure if you can call her one. I kept quiet and she was just looking at me angrily. Just go before I stab you in the head. Inko. By the way, Inko's quirk is stronger and she looks the same as when Izuku was 4. And like that I ran out the house regretting it once I stopped. I felt something dripping from my back and instantly knew it was blood. For a sake. Now I have to change my bandages again. I speed walked to school and watched out for Bakugou. He calls him Kaken only when talking to him. And once I was there I went straight to the bathroom and ignored all the stairs. Time skip brought to you by Izuku patching himself up. I am so lucky I brought extra bandages. I was about to walk out the bathroom when something caught my eye and looked at the mirror. The hell happened with my eyes? My eyes were still green, but it was mixed with purple and it was glitching. My eyes were always like this, but it was more visible now. How am I supposed to hide this from them? I as well started glitching a bit. Oh no. Izuki, you need to calm your ass down. I tried calming down a bit and it worked. But the thing is my eyes are still the same. I guess I'll just keep my head down. I then take my hoodie out of my bag and put it on and try to cover my eyes. I then headed to class and when I arrived no one was in there, so I went to my desk, put my head down, take out my headphones and fell asleep listening to music. Music really is nice to fall asleep to. Time skip brought to you by Izuku listening to music asleep. I was woken up by someone slamming their hands on my desk. How dare you skip your morning beaten? Bakugou. I jumped and tried my best not to glitch and look at him, so I kept my head down. Are you ignoring me, Shitwai Deku? Bakugou. I still kept quiet and that just made him more angry. I shall hunt him after this, smiling face with horns kitchen knife. Sorry for those who simp Bakugou. You better answer me, nerd. Bakugou. Just beat him up already, Katsuki. Bully 1. Yeah, I want to have some fun too. Bully 3. Please no, I just needed a few more minutes for my wounds to heal and now you want to add more. I can just run away but they'll get angry and just... My thoughts were interrupted by Bakugou making an explosion in my face which made me fly out my seat and hit the wall. That thing hurt you, a-hole. I could feel blood coming from my head and my back. Come on, fight us useless bully too. I guess I'll just run or something. Yeah, I'll risk it, what else do I have to lose? They were coming closer as I was trying to stand up and successfully did. Now the hard part is, how do I get past them? You know what, I'll just run. This will be kind of fun. You trying to die? How will this be fun? Okay, well, you catch me if you can. I ran past them and went out of the class. I want to see how they react to me basically acting like a monkey. Get back here, Deku. Bakugou. Let's see what they'll do if I do this. I jumped onto a nearby tree and climbed to the very top. You're too slow. Me, you get it? I can't remember where it came from but I know it's a meme on TikTok or something. I know they'll get angry but can I at least have some fun? What the F are you doing? Bully 3. Having fun, what else? I then sat on a steady branch and watched them. You better get down here before I count to 3. Bakugou. Oh, how scary, try something else. To be honest, I was scared but I hit it. My back was ending me. I'm probably being too confident. 1. I just sat for a bit. 2. I stood up and... 3. Jumped off the tree doing a backflip and landing perfectly and continued to run. Get him. Bakugou. They started chasing me again and once they were out of sight I went to my hiding spot on the roof. No school for me today. So far it was actually fun but I know they won't stop chasing me so I'll have to set up a plan, but first I'll clean my wounds again. I then spend nearly the whole day on the roof in my hiding spot. Bakugou POV. We've searched everywhere the whole day and we still couldn't find him. Come out already, sheet nerd. We decided to skip classes to find him. We took a break and headed to the roof. And there he was, standing close to the edge. What the F are you doing? Me, are you blind? You know what, your new name is Adrian Agresti. Looking at the view, why? You scared I might jump? There. He then took a small step over the edge. Is he trying to scare me? Well, it ain't working. Oh wow. Look how brave he is. Of course not, Deku. I would careless if you jumped. Me, you're a dumbass, you know that? Izuku POV. Are you seriously acting like you're not scared I might jump? You really are a dumbass, that's what I said. I turned around and faced them, not showing my eyes and smiled. Toodles. Might as well make it look cool. I then did a backflip and jumped off the roof. I then teleported to the ground before they could see. They then came to the edge and looked down to see me fine and I just waved at them and walked away. I ain't coming back tomorrow. I'll run away. Best idea ever. Bravo. Give him a round of applause. Clapping hands lights in. I then teleported in my room and I quietly dressed in something else and started packing stuff I needed. When I finished, I immediately teleported out with my stuff and walked around looking for a place to sleep. As I was walking, a sudden thought came to mind. Now that I think about it, why have I never seen my father? Where even is he? Well, whatever, he must have abandoned me and Inko. Ooh, this looks like a nice place to stay. I was standing in front of an abandoned school. It was out of sight, so this was perfect. I also stole some money from Inko's room and let me tell you, it was a lot. 2 wooden bags full of money and I took it all. I put my things down and decided to go for a walk. I went under a bridge and heard a voice. You'll be a nice meet, sweet sludge villain. Not sure if that's what the sludge villain said or not. Neutral face. Please correct me. I was then consumed in some gooey slime. Before I could use my quirk, I heard a familiar voice of someone I most definitely don't like. Do not fear, why? 'Cause I am here. Oh my... The #1 idiot of Japan. Honestly, I'm not surprised he's here, 'cause he'll chase any villain as long as he gets the fame and attention. Detroit Smash. He said while grabbing me. He then took the villain blah blah blah. Now he was looking at me. Are you okay, young man? Oh my... Beach, do I look fine? I just got attacked by a FANG villain and you ask, are you okay? Are you stupid? I am, thank you for saving me. I hate putting on a fake smile but did it anyways. He then turned around saying he's leaving. I then got an idea. I got an idea. Let's see what he thinks about quirkless people. As he jumped, I grabbed his leg and now I was in the sky. Where else are you? In space. What are you doing? Let go. Oh my. Are you trying to end me? I could die if I let go, but I can teleport, so I'm lucky, I guess. But if I do, I would die. He stopped trying to get me off and looked at me. Good point, but whatever you want to ask me, make it quick, All Might. He then landed on a building and I let go. Now, what do you want to ask? All Might. I then acted like I hesitated and asked, can a quirkless kid, like me, become a hero? I really want him to answer, but not because he's the #1 hero. I just want to know what he thinks about quirkless. He then started laughing his ass off. The FS so funny? Are you on drugs? Nice thumbs up, light skin tone. A quirkless person, like you, become a hero? You would die on your first day. Just forget about it. All Might said, still laughing. He then left giggling and I stood there not really fazed, but now I feel sorry for quirkless people. So he thinks quirkless people are useless. Guess what, All Might? You have a new enemy? Smiling face with horns. I then walked off with a creepy smile on my face. If I can't be a hero, I'll be a vigilante. Let's see how far you get being #1, All Might. No one's POV. It has been a year since Izuku first came out. He is now the #1 vigilante shadow who gets chased by almost every hero. Right now it is midnight and Izuku is sitting in his room thinking about the past. Izuku POV. I hate my past, but I should be kind of thankful that I'm not one of those hero wannabes. Reminds me of Koda. I should probably go patrol. I then got up, put my suit on and jump out the window. He still lives in the school. As I was running on the roofs, I heard a scream and me being me went there. I landed on a roof and I saw a thug pinning a girl to the wall with a gun to her head in an alley. Help, dash girl. The thug put his hand over her mouth. You better give me your money or I'll end you. I then took action. I put the voice changer on, jumped down landing quietly and activated my nightmare ability. The thug then turned around and when he saw me he started shaking and he looked right into my eyes, which led him to see his nightmare. What a shame, pensive face. He fell and started mumbling stuff. I deactivated my nightmare ability. Izuku decides when the people's nightmare stops and faced the girl. Are you okay and what's your name? Yes, I am. Thank you for saving me, and the name's Kyoka Juro. Juro. It's my job, and do you have a phone? She nodded her head and took her phone out. I then took out a notepad and wrote down what happened. Can you call the police and give them this note? She nodded her head again and took the note. She then called the police and I waited until I heard sirens in the distance. Well, I gotta go. Have a nice night. I then jumped onto the roof. Thanks again for saving me, girl. I then turned invisible and waited till the police arrived just to make sure nothing happens, and once they arrived I ran and went to the highest building and sat down, looking down at the city. What can I do now? The city went quiet. I'll just sing since I don't have anything to do. I then thought of a song and put my voice changer off. I finished the song and looked back down, remembering a specific someone was behind me. I turn on my voice changer. You can come out, erase your head, me. Aizawa POV, we've had Izuku long enough. I didn't think he would know it was me. I then came out of the shadows and sat next to him, looking at the city. So, what was that about? I asked, looking at him. What do you mean? Shadow asked, looking at me. Are you kidding me? You literally sang a sad song. I mean, why a sad song? He just shrugged and looked back down. To be honest, I started to have a liking to him, I mean as a son. We had a moment of silence until he spoke. Well, I gotta go, it's pretty late and next time I'll get you some coffee. Shadow. No need, me. Too late already decided, good night, erase your head. Shadow. He then jumped off the roof, disappearing into the shadows. He really is a problem child. I headed home to be met with my cats jumping on me. After dealing with that, I went to my room and saw Hizashi asleep. Guess he fell asleep? I got in bed and let the darkness consume me. Izuku POV. Once I arrived at the school I call home, I went to the room full of computers hacked into the cameras and looked around the whole school and went to sleep. Izuku POV. I woke up, took my phone and looked at the time. 9 a.m. I want to lay in bed all day. Should I or shouldn't I? I'll get up. I then got up and went to the computer room. I checked all the cameras and afterwards I went to the room I sleep in. I checked in the one bag how much money there was and it was past halfway while the other was full. I thought I used a lot but there's still some left and the other is full. I'm gonna go buy something to eat. I then took some clothes, he bought himself clothes with the money not so long ago, and went to take a shower. Afterwards I put on black washable dye and went back to the room, took some money and went out the school, making sure no one was following me. That food was so delicious. I was sitting on a bench in a park when I saw someone very familiar that I can't forget. Why does he have to be here? And here I thought God was on my side. It's been a while since I've seen Bakugou but right now, he spoiled my mood. I got up and walked away before he could see me. I then turned a corner into an alleyway and teleported to a roof near the school. I then sat down near the edge. I'll sing a song to let the time pass. I then heard a twig break and I immediately looked around to see who it was. The F are you doing here? Bakugou. It was ifing Bakugou. Oh hell no. I ain't dealing with this. I put all the rabbits down, stood up and walked away. Oi, don't ignore me. Bakugou. Guess what? I will ignore you. I just kept walking and teleported home. Can't believe he still goes there. I hope he didn't hear me. If he did then I guess he was standing there, waiting for me to finish. What's the time? 6 p.m. I guess I can hack into things. It was now midnight. I got up from the chair, put on my suit and jumped out the window. I then ran rooftop to rooftop. Today's quiet. I'll just go around to make sure. Aizawa POV. The heroes are planning to capture Shadow and I don't know how I should feel right now. So, are you in or out? Nizu. Out dash. We need you Erasure, you don't have a choice. Nizu. Damn it. I really don't want to betray his trust. We all left to set up the plan. Izuku POV. Guess the night isn't quiet. I already court 10 black market people, 10 rapists and 30 thugs. This world really is corrupted. I was standing on a rooftop when I heard a scream and I had a feeling that if I went something bad would happen so, I turned invisible and went there. When I arrived I saw a thug pinning a lady to the wall. They looked familiar but I couldn't tell who they were and I felt more presences. Why are there multiple people here? I stood there for a few minutes and watched what was happening. Where the hell is he? Now that I heard his voice, I knew who they were and why there were a lot of people. So the heroes set up a plan to capture me. Too bad the plan won't work. I then walked around to see which heroes are here. Beach Might, Indehor, Hawks, Midnight, Present Mike and Eraserhead. Not bad heroes but not enough. I then went into a shadow and created a clone of me. Two can play this game but I better be quick cause I don't want to be invisible for a whole day. I then teleported to where I was standing before and controlled my clone, making sure to not show my quirk. Oi, leave her alone. Clone. The clone came out the shadows and took out a weapon. I had to act like I didn't know it was the pros which doesn't really matter cause it was my clone not me. And why should I? Beach Might. He then let go of Midnight and came closer to my clone. Now, Midnight. All of them came out from their hitting spots and the fight had begun. I'm not good with fights so don't blame me. Beach Might hit the sword out of the clone's hand and was about to punch him but my clone swept him off his feet making Beach Might fall. My clone then backflipped to avoid Endeavor's flames, Hawk's feathers and Eraserhead's scarf. My clone got onto the roof. I can't control it for long. I guess I'll have to reveal my quirks. My clone then disappeared and I waited for the heroes to get on the roof. Come on, don't make this harder than it has to be. Present Mike. They all surrounded me and got ready to attack. Just surrender. Beach Might. Why would I? Endeavor shot flames at me and I sidestepped. Yeah. Present Mike. I got pushed back but still stood. My ears were bleeding a bit but I was fine. Are you trying to make me deaf? Hawks came from the sky and tried to grab me but I leaned back and because I didn't expect that I started glitching. The hell is that? Indehor. Before I could calm myself Midnight used her quirk but I had a gas mask so it wouldn't affect me. Everyone was about to attack but I teleported to a roof not too far from them and ran. Get him. Beach Might. Hawks was on my tail and Eraserhead tried to get me with his scarf but I avoided it. Indehor then shot a big fireball at me which I didn't see, and I was at the edge of the building, so I got hit and fell off the roof, but before I hit the ground I teleported behind present Mike and knocked him out. The fireball hit my back but it healed from regeneration. I then kept running until I lost them. I didn't think it would be so hard. Now they know I have multiple quirks, too bad. I teleported to the school, took off my suit and went to sleep. That was exhausting, better be careful next time. Izuku POV. It's been a few weeks since they attacked me and I've been careful not to bump into any of them, even Eraserhead. He betrayed me. Not his fault though, he's a hero and I'm a vigilante. It is midnight and I am sitting on a roof. Again, is this your favorite place to sit or what? I was watching the city when I heard footsteps behind me. You don't have to creep up behind me, Eraserhead. Me. He sighed and sat next to me. I didn't look at him and just looked at the city. What are you doing? Eraserhead. Doing your job better. Me. There was a moment of silence until I spoke. I'm gonna go look around. Me. I left without another word. I'm still kinda mad he betrayed me. A song popped into my head. I put my voice changer off and I kept running and sang the song as I ran. As I ended the song I looked around and saw that the school wasn't that far, so I teleported, checked the cameras and tried to sleep. Forgot he had insomnia, grinning face with sweat. That was fun. Definitely. Skipped. Like every morning I checked the time, got dressed and checked the cameras. I had no idea what to do today. I'm so bored. I then got an idea and hacked into Nizu's computer. Easy peasy. The rest is them messaging. Shadow and Izuku. Yes, good morning Nizu. And good morning to you too, Shadow. I see you managed to hack into my computer. It was easy. Say, do you perhaps want to play a game of chess? And I would love to. After playing like 10 rounds I think, I won all of them and we decided to stop and play another time. It was already 7 p.m. and I went to my room to get my suit. When I was finished getting ready I hacked into the police's files to check if they have any criminals to capture but found none. I kept going through the things but found it boring, so I hacked into UA's files, which was easy, and they were very interesting. I went through each pro hero and I didn't expect to see Indehor's file not filled up because I remember him doing a lot of non-heroic things. I checked the time and it was already 11 p.m. so I teleported into a shadow in an alley close to the school and went to look around the area. I noticed that there's more heroes that's doing night patrol, probably trying to catch me. I have to be careful around them, it's better safe than sorry. I then went to a part of the city where heroes don't go much. When I arrived, the place looked abandoned but you can never be sure that there's no one here, so I looked around. Time skip, I don't know what else to put there, so yeah. I actually found a lot of people here. These heroes need to take their job more serious. It was 4 a.m. so I teleported back to the school, knowing that I would wake up a few minutes after I fell asleep. I changed into something casual, dyed my hair, took some money and went for a walk. I hope I don't bump into anyone, especially Bakugou and Eraserhead, but it's 4 a.m. so I don't have to worry. I then bumped into somebody, oh no, smirking face, and it was Bakugou again. God really hates me, huh? Watch where you're going. Bakugou. Sorry, me. I just kept walking and didn't look back. What can I do? All I do is sing, hack and sleep. I'ma go to the library to read a book or something, but first I'ma go and get me some breakfast. I then got me breakfast and when I was done I went to the library. It was 6 a.m. and it was open. I went in and grabbed a lot of books to read. As I was walking out the library I checked the time. 4 p.m. I've been here for 10 hours. I definitely didn't take note of the time. What can I do now? Sing a song. My favorite and often done hobby. I teleported to the beach and looked around to see if anyone was there and saw no one, which I was happy about, and sang the song. When I finished, I stopped using my shadow manipulation. When I made the flames it was actually warm, not sure how, but it was kind of cool to know I can make flames. Bakugou POV, you didn't see that coming. I was walking around the beach when I heard someone, so I went to check it out. I saw someone singing and it was relaxing, I guess. You sure? When he finished he turned and looked around. I hid so he doesn't see me. He was the one I saw at the lake and the one bumped into me. He kind of looked familiar but I can't pin it. He then disappeared out of thin air. Must have been his quirk. I then went home and slept, not bothering to check the time. Nice for you, you can still sleep easily and not 4 in the morning. Izuku POV. I didn't want to walk all the way back to the school so I teleported. I'll have to go patrol in a few hours. It would be so boring and quiet like always, but it's better than having a whole lot of people getting hurt. I can test my flames when I'm on patrol. Now I won't be so bored. I'll make this short, there will only be swearing in this chapter and please tell me if I made a mistake. Enjoy! Izuku POV. It was 8 a.m. right now and I didn't get a wink of sleep when I got home at 4 a.m. I was really tired and I tried falling asleep but I just couldn't. I want sleep. Why does God hate me so much? I wish I didn't have this stupid insomnia. Must have been related to my dad. Oh wait, it's my quirk drawback? He has insomnia from his dad and quirk? So sad. I'm gonna stay in bed until I get sleep and no one will stop me. After 2 hours I fell asleep. I slept the whole day and woke up 11 p.m. Well, that was nice. As much as I want to stay in bed, I have to go patrol and that will be exhausting, but I'll still go. I got up, took a shower, put my suit on, checked the cameras, and I finally jumped out the window. I jumped from rooftop to rooftop and as I was running I heard a scream and immediately went there. When I arrived, I saw a lady against a wall and a man blocking the entrance of the alley they were in. I crouched and waited for the right time to jump at the man. Let me go. Lady. Acting tough, huh? Come on, I just want to have some fun, man. He then started coming closer to the lady and I took that as a chance to attack. I then jumped down from the roof, landing soundlessly, and walked up to the man as he complimented the lady about how beautiful her body is. I didn't want to fight, so I just hit his pulse, tie him up, write down what happened, make sure the lady was okay, ask her to call the police, give the note, wait on the roof, and when I heard them, I ran. I then ran to the tallest building. When I arrived, no one was there. You mean Eraserhead, which made me happy. I stood at the edge and watched the city. If I did this in the day, people would have thought I was about to commit suicide. I laughed at the thought and continued to watch the city. After a few minutes I heard a scream and got a bad feeling, and like last time I turned invisible and went to where I heard the scream. When I arrived there was a boy that looked my age and a man pinning the boy to the wall. Give me your money. I don't have money. Help. But before I could react, I felt people's presences and went to look around and found the heroes. It was everyone from last time, but this time they brought Edgeshot and Best Jeanist and they weren't acting as the victims, so this had to be a real robbery, and they came and waited for me so that when I'm done with the man they can capture me. Just stop trying to catch me. You know that won't happen, so stop. I am starting to get tired of these heroes bullshit. They keep trying to capture me but they can't. I'll finish this guy, lead the heroes to a roof and just sing a sad song and they'll think I'm all sad and shit. I then went to where I was standing and disabled invisibility. I teleported right in front of the man. Boo! I then teleported behind him and kicked him, making him go forward, and I teleported in front of him and punched him. He wasn't putting up much of a fight, so I knocked him out. What's your name? I nearly forgot a boy was standing behind me. I wrote down what happened and waited for his answer. Denki Kaminari, Denki. Well, Denki, do you have a phone? He nodded and took his phone out. I kept looking around, not sure if the heroes will attack or not. Call the police and give them this note. Me. I then handed the note and teleported on a roof where Denki can see. I sat there and waited for the police until I heard sirens, so I got up. Thank you for saving me. I just waved at him and ran away before the police could see me. Now I have to deal with these heroes. Why can't they leave me alone? I then ran to a random building and sat at the edge looking at the moon. Can't I just go sleep, me? I smiled and looked at the moon. I thought of a song, put my voice changer off and sang. The pain part is true, I have been through pain for years, but I always have a smile on my face and it makes me sick now that I think about it. Once I finished I stopped the glitching and heard a few sniffs. I then teleported to the school knowing if I ran to the school the heroes would follow. I then took a shower, get dressed and headed to the computer room. On my way there I see a cat. It was so cute. I petted it and another 3 came running to me. Looks like the first cat was the bait. I laughed at the thought and played with them for a bit, and when I finished I went to the computer room but they just followed me. Looks like I'm their owner now. When I finished, I went to the room I sleep and give them food and lay in bed. A few minutes later they came to where I was laying and slept there and I fell asleep. After Izuku teleported to the school, the heroes went back to UA to inform Nizu about what happened. Erase your head POV. I wonder what that was about. We need to catch Shadow. So, did it go well? Nizu. No, we didn't catch him, me. We followed him. We didn't get much information but we know he is having some trouble, Hawks. What kind of trouble? Nizu. I have a bad feeling about this. He sounded sad and he sang something about home, midnight. He must miss home but have problems, Nizu. I'm gonna go sleep, me. Before I could walk out Mike grabbed me. You're not going yet, we still have to plan our next attack, Mike. I just sighed and sat next to my husband and listened to whatever the plan is. Izuku POV. It is now 8 a.m. and right now I am laying in bed staring at the ceiling, mind empty. What am I doing? I then slowly sat up, trying to not wake the cats up. I then went to get me clothes and take a shower, forgot to say they have showers in the school. When I finished I went to the computer room and looked at the cameras. There were 4 people in the building and it was a girl, a man and Hawks and Endeavor. What are they doing here? Wait, they probably chased that man here and the girl is a hostage. I then went to where they were and hid behind a corner. Just leave me alone and I'll let the girl go, man. How about you let the girl go and surrender, Hawks? The man was getting ready to take his gun out and shoot the girl. I'm not in my suit. How am I supposed to help? You know what, let's risk it. I then ran at the man, pushed the girl to the side and punched the man in the face but the bad thing is, I didn't the fireball Endeavor shot at the man and now it was about to hit me but I moved to the side and because I didn't see it I started glitching. Hey, are you okay? What are you even doing here? Hawks. I didn't answer him and just ran away. Take care of the girl, I'll go after him. Hawks. Oh come on, leave me alone, I'm just a random boy roaming around. I didn't want to show the stuff I kept in the school so I just ran around not sure where I was going. I reached a door and it led to the roof. I frantically looked around for an escape route until Hawks came. Come on, I just want to ask some questions, Hawks. It's best I don't talk since they might recognize my voice. I then took a few steps back to the edge. I was still glitching cause I was panicking. Stop, you'll fall over the edge. Hawks. He came closer and I just took some steps back. Each time he came closer I took a step back. Does he not get what I'm doing? If I were him I wouldn't come any closer. He kept coming closer and closer until I fell off the roof. I then teleported to the ground and teleported to my room in the school. Finally, I lost him. They might still be in the school so I'll have to hide for a bit. I was still glitching, I nearly got caught and that would have been the end of me. Luna then ran to me and I sat in the corner of the room and the others came. Luna then touched me with her paw and it looked like we teleported to a lake. What the where are we? I didn't teleport, was it you? Luna nodded her head and came into my lap. Wait, Luna has a quirk. I didn't know animals can get quirks. Does the others have quirks too? Yes we do. Someone just spoke and I don't know who. Who said that? Me Ragdoll. Wait, your quirk is telepathy. Yes it is. Mimi then started to fly and touched me making me float. Whoa. They really do have quirks. By now I stopped glitching and I'm guessing I have stars in my eyes. Kiki then made some stuff come from the ground and lifted us up. I'm gonna call it Black Whip. Luna then touched me again and we teleported back to the school. I sat in the room, just playing with them and after a few minutes, I went to the computer room being careful not to bump into the heroes, and the cats are following you. When I got there, I checked the cameras and saw that the heroes left. I decided to hack into UA's cameras and mess with them for a bit. I looked through all the cameras in UA and saw all the heroes were in the meeting room. Let's have a little fun, shall we? I then hacked into the speakers in the meeting room, put my mask on and put the voice changer on and start the show. Hello my dear heroes. It's your friendly vigilante, Shadow. I am sorry to inform you but the building will be in lockdown, toodles. And with that I put the building in lockdown, locking all the windows, doors and other exits in the school. That's for coming into my school. I then got up, went to dye my hair, remember it's washable, put contact lenses on, black lenses, take some money, give the cats food and go for a walk. What can I do now? Library. I then went to the library and wasted my time. Time skip. You really are bored expressionless face. It was now 5 p.m. and like last time, I was at the library for 10 hours. I really love reading. I'm gonna walk around and see what I can do. I then walked around for like 20 minutes or so until I bumped into someone. What is with me and bumping into people? I then signed them a sorry, he knows sign language, and kept walking, but that person put a hand on my shoulder. Where do you think you're going? I then turned around to see who it was, and guess what? It's Eraserhead. What the F is he doing here? I was panicking but stopped myself from glitching. I didn't know what to do but run. But Eraserhead. I kept running and now he was chasing me. A game of cat and mouse, huh? Two can play that game. The first thing I noticed about Eraserhead is he doesn't have his capture weapon or scarf thing, whatever it is. He wasn't that close to me, so I was fine, but the thing is, what am I supposed to do if he catches me? Time skip. Sorry for the time skips. I was still running and it was exhausting. Eraserhead was now behind, so I could hide somewhere before he gets on my tail again. I then reached the park me and Bakugou to play in. I hid behind a tree and sat down. Finally. I'm exhausted, but this game ain't over yet. Oh wait, I can teleport. Why didn't I think of that before? I then teleported to my room in the school and had a headache, cause I teleported a bit too far. I then went to the spot I sleep and sat down. The cats came running and like last time, Luna teleported us to a field full of daisies. Thanks, me. It was so quiet, and that's my favorite thing about this place. I laid down and the cats sat next to me. Can't it be like this all the time? I then took my phone out to look at the time and it was 7 p.m. Eraserhead chased me for 2 hours. I still have 4 hours before I have to go patrol. I can just lay here and do nothing, or I can play with the cats, I don't know. We can take you to somewhere else if you want. I forgot you can telepathy, yeah, if that is okay with Luna. Ragdoll then looked at Luna and both looked at me. She said okay and asks if there's any specific place you want to go to. Anywhere is fine. Luna then walked to me and we got teleported to a lake. It was as if I was in a fairy tale. I got up, sit at the edge of the river, take my shoes and socks off and put my feet in the water. So relaxing, me. I then laid back and play with the cats for half an hour and thought it was a bit too quiet, so I sang. No thank you is what I should have said, I should be in bed. But temptations of trouble on my tongue, troubles yet to come. My throat was a bit sore after finishing the song, probably the drawback. I then laid there playing with the cats. Another half an hour passed and I was bored. Should I sing another song or not? I'm bored as hell. I can ask Luna if she can teleport us to the library. Sure, I guess. And with that, Luna teleported us to a library and I read books for about 2.5 hours and asked Luna to teleport us to the school. I then washed the dye out, take the contact lenses off, put my suit on, check if I have everything, give the cats food and jump out the window. I want to do that. I ran from rooftop to rooftop and heard a scream. I then turned invisible, just in case, and teleport to where I heard the scream. I then looked around and saw that I was in the right spot. There was a lady and I'm guessing her son, and they were surrounded by 5 people. I then crouched down and watched and listened. Leave me and my son alone. Lady. Come on, we just want to do experiments on you. Guy 4. Shut up, don't tell them what we're gonna do. Guy 1. Sorry boss, Guy 4. I'm gonna number them, since I don't know their names. Guy 1 is leader and the others are just helping. Can we get this over with? Guy 5. Shut up, you're gonna get us court. Guy. You shut up, you're not the boss of me. Guy 5. As they all argued, I took this as a chance to get the lady and her son away, so I jumped off the roof and landed on the ground without a sound. I went next to the lady and her son and put my hands on their shoulders and teleport us a road away. Who's there? Lady. I deactivated invisibility. The name's Shadow, a vigilante that work around here. You and your son are safe now. Well, I have to go, me. Thanks for saving us. Lady. I just waved, turn invisible and teleport back to the 5 men. They still didn't notice that the lady is gone. Bunch of bakas. If you don't know what baka is, it is idiot. Shut up all of you. Did you forget we are trying to capture people? Guy 1. They then turned around to face the lady, but she wasn't there. Where the hell is she? Guy 1. Look when you notice. Let's just make this quick, I don't want to fight right now. My throat was still hurting a bit but I sang anyway. Do you want to meet all my monsters? Think you're tough, I know they'll drive you bonkers. Meet them once and they'll forever haunt ya. I was still invisible so they couldn't see me. They were looking around and I'm guessing they already know it was me by looks of it. There's no heroes or villains in this place. Just shadows that dance in my headspace. Leaving nothing but phantoms in their wake. I used shadow manipulation and made weird-looking things basically monsters. The 5 men started fighting them but they just kept coming back. There's parts of me I cannot hide. I've tried and tried a million times. Now that they were knocked out, I wrote a note, stick it on one of the men and teleport them to the police. My head then started hurting and I got a nosebleed. Well me. My throat then started hurting and I lost my voice. I then felt my forehead and I am having a fever. Great, my drawbacks? Ugh, I hate drawbacks. But I'm lucky I stayed invisible for only half an hour. I teleported to the school, which was far and now my headache became worse. I immediately went to where I sleep and laid down and like always the cats came running and they looked worried. Master, are you okay? Ragdoll said that. I have my quirk drawbacks and there's no need to call me master, just call me Izuku. Okay Izuku, you should rest for now then. They laid next to me and fell asleep and surprisingly I fell asleep too. This is gonna be hell. Izuku POV. It is now morning and I carefully stood up, trying not to wake the cats and regretting it, cause my head instantly started hurting. Forgot I had my drawbacks? Why is it even a thing? I then felt my forehead and it wasn't that hot so my fever was going away. What can I do? I'll go hack into UA and see what they're doing but first let's get dressed. I then took some clothes and went to take a shower. I then went to where I sleep and give the cats food, they're still asleep. After that, I went to the computer room and hacked into the cameras around the school I'm in just to make sure no one surprise attacked me. When I finished making sure no one was here, I hacked into UA's cameras and looked around the school. Eraserhead's asleep, Mick's teaching his class and Vlad is also teaching his class. Don't y'all have anything else to do? What can I do now? I'll just mess around. Like last time, I hacked into the files and read through all the Pro Heroes files, not leaving an inch of it unread. It took me 3 hours to read everything I think, but why isn't Indehor's file filled up? I'm sure he did a whole lot of bad things. Oh, how I wish I could just fill that thing up. Myself, I would have filled that thing up myself. I was angry that no one reported Indehor for the things he did wrong and that was unfair towards the other heroes. I then got up from the chair and went to the room I sleep in. When I got there the cats were eating. I'm gonna go for a walk since I have nothing else to do. I then dyed my hair, put on contact lenses, get some money and take my phone. I couldn't teleport or that'll just make the drawback worse. I still have a headache but not that bad. I was now out of the school and just walking but like always I bumped into someone. For God F's sake, why do I keep bumping into effing people? I feel ya. I then looked up and it was someone I saved a few months ago and it was the girl, Jiro I think. I am so sorry. I wasn't looking where I was walking, I have to go, see you around. And with that she ran away. She looked like she was in a rush, well none of my business but I am happy I didn't have to talk since I have my drawback. I continued walking minding my own business. I then came across a beach, it was full of trash. What is up with people? Why would you just dump trash on a beach, a beautiful beach at that? I then remembered the times I had here with Inko when I was a kid. I had completely forgotten about her and my past. I then shook my head and walked on the beach. What's that? I saw something shiny in a pile of trash and took it out. It was a pocket knife, it still looked new so I put it in my pocket. There might be more useful things around here. I'll just look around before I leave to go and eat something. I am now sitting in a cat cafe. I had actually found a lot of useful things at the beach. I'll see what I can make with these. I took a sip from my coffee, a large cup of coffee, and he didn't talk, one of the cashiers knew sign language, and heard the doorbell ring. I turned to see who it was and I had nearly spit my coffee out. It was Eraserhead. Of course he would be here. This is a famous cafe after all. I kept my head down and took my phone out to keep myself busy. A few minutes later a guy came in with a gun and grabbed me holding the gun to my head. I kept myself calm and just stood still. Give me all the money or the kid dies. Robert. Come on Eraserhead, time to take action if you don't want me to you die. Eraserhead had his scarf and looked like he was thinking. You can't be thinking in such a moment. Screw it. I then kicked him in the balls and he went to protect it, which led to me kicking him in the face, knocking him out. I then turned around and the other people were taking videos. These FNG people were just FING taking videos while I nearly FNG died. Pathetic. I then grabbed my cup of coffee, put my phone in my pocket and give the cashier a tip. Eraserhead was just standing there dumbfounded and I left without another word. How can people be so stupid? Whatever, I'm too tired for today, especially after what happened. I walked for a few minutes until I remembered something. I'm stupid. I completely forgot I had an ability called Shadow Leap. Ugh, and I walked for no reason. I then Shadow Leaped and I teleported into an alley close to the school. Let's try again. I Shadow Leaped again and this time I teleported into my room. Guess I can't leap that far, it's good enough. I then went to the bathroom, take the contact lenses out, wash my hair and Shadow Leap to the room again. I then sat on a desk and took my phone out. I did anything that could keep me busy and then I saw a video. A kid beat up a robber in a cat cafe. Don't tell me. I then watched it and it was me beating up that guy in the cat cafe. Did they really have to FING post that on the internet? I'll have to be careful now. Why can't I have a normal day without any drama and chaos? The sun was now setting so I got ready. I'm gonna start early. I have to avoid all the heroes so they don't know I have my drawbacks, but I do want to annoy them. I then took some smoke and glitter bombs and jump out the window. I ran until I was close to the tallest building and Shadow Leaped to the top. I then sat on the edge and watched the city. The view really is beautiful from up here. Time skip, I don't know what else to write about. It is now 2 in the morning and so far, I annoyed Indehor and I had no problem with getting away from him. I stopped a few crimes, just not that much. Why is it so quiet? Whatever, I'm grateful it's quiet, I'm tired anyways. I am sitting on a random building, I basically look like I passed out. I heard someone land behind and they gasped. What the hell? Aizawa. This is my chance to prank him. This'll be the best prank ever. He then came closer but I laid still. Hey, you good? Aizawa. No, I want to sleep. He was now right in front of me, crouched down and tapped me. I didn't move one bit and he sighed. Finally, now I can catch him, Aizawa. He was about to pick me up until I threw a glitter bomb in his face, throw a smoke bomb and Shadow Leap a street away. He didn't see that coming. What a shame, it'll be so annoying to wash that out. Let's see who else I can prank. And with that, that's how the rest of the morning went, with me saving people and pranking the heroes. It's been a week and Izuku can now talk and use his quirks. Izuku POV. I am so happy I can finally talk and use my quirks. That week was one hell of a week, but I'm okay, you better be. It is currently 5 a.m., he finishes patrol at 4, and like always, I can't sleep. Is it because the cats aren't there? I am laying on the ground looking at the ceiling. What can I do? I'll just hack into things or something. I then got up and went to the computer room. I sat down and hacked into the police files to see if there's anything new. Nothing except the guys I dropped off. I then hacked into UA's files and again, nothing. Are they even keeping track on the files or do they just let it sit? I then leaned back on my seat and closed my eyes, seeing as there's nothing to do. Ragdoll then came in and jumped onto my lap. The ones underlined are Ragdoll. Are you okay, Izuku? Yeah, just have nothing to do, that's all. We can take you somewhere. Really, where? Good. Well then, on a mountain I guess. Ragdoll then jumped off me, Luna and the others came and we teleported to a mountain. It was quite beautiful to be honest. I then sat on the ground and looked at the sky. It is still early so it was a bit dark. The sun started to rise and it was beautiful. Time skip, don't know what to put. Luna teleported us back to the school and it is now 7 a.m. I then told the cats I was going somewhere quickly, so they don't worry. I then teleported to the trash beach and looked around for things that are useful. I ended up finding a lot of things and left to go see what I can make. I planned on making a device that can break anything, which is for in case I get captured and they put quirk cancelers on me. There were leftover things and I made more glitter and smoke bombs to annoy the heroes, smirking face. When I finished making it, I went to clean myself. When I finished, I went to the cats and played with them. It was now 10 a.m. and I'm thinking of things to make in case I get captured. I'm just overthinking, I'll never let it happen anyways. I'm gonna go for a walk to get fresh air. I then stood up, got into disguise and teleport to a alley near Aldra Junior High. Let's rather mess with a certain someone. I then teleported to the school's roof and sat right on the edge and patiently waited for it to be lunch. It was finally lunchtime. And I thought about a song. I heard the roof's door open and I didn't turn around, 'cause I knew who it was. I then started to sing and he stayed quiet. Guess who? I then heard the door open again and I turned around. It was the 3 bullies. Who the hell are you? Bully 1. I didn't say anything and just stood up and faced them. It looked like they were getting angry. What a shame. Answer the damn question. Bakugou, did you get it right? I then moved to the back and their faces turned from anger to confused to worry. Annoying, let's just get out of here. I then leaned back and fell off the roof. I teleported to the trash beach and just walked around. After a few minutes of walking I found a clearing and nobody could see it. I then went there and sat in the middle. They really don't know how to express emotions, like come on, it's not that hard. I then laid down looking at the sky. I need to prepare myself. The heroes might catch me seeing as they keep making plans to catch me. Ugh, why can't they leave me alone? They are getting on my nerves. They keep making more and more plans each time it fails. They even set it as a reminder on their computer, which led me to finding it. They're so stupid. I'm getting tired of their shit. Luna and Ragdoll then appeared, which scared the hell out of me and sat on each side of my head and I pet them. What you doing here? We thought we should check on you. Oh, I'm fine, just have nothing to do. Should I teleport us home? We then teleported home and when we got there the others ran to me and I sat down and played with and fell asleep. Aizawa POV. Another day, planning on catching Shadow. I'm too tired for this. Right now me, All Might, Endeavor, Hawks, Present Mike, Midnight, Mirko and Nizu are having a meeting about Shadow. This plan is probably gonna fail like the others. If we want to catch him, we'll need to come up with better plans and work harder. I was paying close attention to what the plan was and I could tell Endeavor wasn't paying much attention. Probably thinking of his own way of catching Shadow. He really is stupid. So, everyone got the plan? Nizu. Yes sir. Everyone except Endeavor. We then went to do our daily things until it's time to set the plan. Izuku POV. I woke up and sat up, surprised that I had a nice sleep for once. Did I actually fall asleep? It seems that I only fall asleep when I'm with the cats. Whatever, how long was I even asleep? I then checked the time and it is 11:55. Well, that certainly was a long and nice nap that I haven't had in a long time. I then got up and got ready for patrol. I leave some food for the cats and quietly jump out the window. I just hope the heroes don't spoil my mood. I might not even prank them, if they don't spoil my mood. Well, let's get to work. Aizawa POV. We are now waiting for All Might and Endeavor so we can leave and set the plan. I am currently leaning on Zashi and getting annoyed by the fact that we are still waiting for them. We could just leave but we need them for the plan. After waiting for 15 minutes, they finally came and we could leave to set the plan. We were now in position and getting ready to start with the plan. We just needed to wait till we see him. Izuku POV. I am now sitting on a random roof just listening for any screams of help but heard nothing. I then got up and ran around. I might have used my quirks a bit too much but I won't be getting my drawback, only if I overuse them. I then heard a scream and I immediately turned invisible and went there. No one's POV. The heroes were dressed as villains and asked a lady to help with their plan. The heroes then saw Shadow. So they started their plan and the lady let out a scream. Shadow then disappeared in thin air which made them panic but they still played the plan. Shadow then scanned the area for anyone but there were only the heroes. Shadow couldn't see if the lady was okay because All Might was in the way but he doesn't know it's the heroes. Let me go. Lady. All Might then covered her mouth. Just give me all your money and jewelry and I'll leave you alone, All Might. Shadow then jumped down and threw a smoke bomb. He then grabbed the lady while they couldn't see. He then jumped on the roof and became visible. Are you Dash, Shadow? When he saw her he froze. It was Inko. He shook his head and continued. Are you okay? Shadow. Yes, I'm okay, thank you, Inko. He teleported her around the corner, completely forgetting that was Inko, and jumped down behind All Might and hit his head, making the mask fall off. Shadow saw his face and jumped back. Looks like you'll never give up on catching me, huh? Shadow. All of them then took off their disguises and got ready to fight. Of course we won't, we're heroes. All Might. Hawks then sent his feathers at Shadow, but he dodged. All Might then sent Detroit Smash at him. He didn't get the chance to dodge and got hit, hitting the wall. Is that all you got? Shadow. He then stood up and instantly healed. Mirko was about to kick him, but he teleported to her side and punched her stomach. Eraserhead activated his quirk, but it did nothing. There's no use, Eraserhead. I'm not affected by your quirk, Shadow. Present Mike then sent a sound wave and Shadow covered his ears. All Might took this as the chance to catch him, but before he could, Shadow teleported to the roof. Are you trying to make me go effing deaf? Shadow. Shadow then ran and they all chased him. Hawks was in the air while they were all running after Shadow. Eraserhead then went the other way to try and corner him, with Midnight following. Endeavor then sent a fireballs, but Shadow kept dodging. Stop playing around, villain. Endeavor. It's vigilante, not villain. There's a difference. Shadow. They were getting close to the edge of the building where there was a big gap, and they were currently running on a 30-story building. The heroes were behind, but Shadow stopped right at the edge of the building and the heroes arrived, surrounding him. Just give up, villain. All Might. For the last time, it's vigilante. Shadow. Midnight tore off her sleeve to make Shadow sleep, but he had a gas mask. Why isn't it working? Midnight. Seeing as it wasn't working, Mirko went and tried to kick him, but he dodged and kicked her back, making her fall. All Might sent a punch, Endeavor sent fireballs, Aizawa sent his scarf, Present Mike sent another sound wave, Hawks sent his feathers, and Midnight helped Mirko. Shadow dodged all of their attacks, threw glitter bombs at them and teleported to the building across. Better luck next time. Shadow. He then ran away and jumped into an alleyway. Izuku POV. Finally I can rest. But what don't they understand? I'm a FNG vigilante for FS sake, not a villain. I swear, they're losing their brain cells. It was now 4 a.m., so I teleported to my room in the school and got dizzy from how far I teleported. I changed out of my suit and went to the cats and petted them and fell asleep. Aizawa POV. What did I say? We failed, again. He really is a problem child. Me and Zashi are at home resting from the battle. Now that I think about it, he barely used his quirks. I mean, yeah, he was teleporting, but that was all he used. He must have overused them. We had an advantage, yet we still failed. I just sighed and went to bed. Time skipped to morning. Izuku POV. Well, that was one hell of a night. I really needed that nap. I decided to just relax for today. The heroes might attack tonight as well, so I want to be ready. But I'll just rest, seeing as the heroes' plans keep failing. Do they even know how to make plans? They can't, but a kid can. PFF pathetic. I then got up, give the cats food, take a shower and get into disguise. Once done, I teleport to an alleyway close to the cat cafe I always went to, and when I entered, people immediately recognized me. Look, it's the boy that fought off that robber here. Random lady. They still haven't gotten over that. That was months ago and they're still going on about it. I then went to the counter and ordered a black coffee. You just had a nap. No need to pay, it's on me, and thanks for saving us, counter lady. Oh, thank you and no problem, me. I fake smiled and went to sit down. I hate smiling. I swear I can tell people are watching me. Guess the smile will have to stay on for a while. I then took my phone out and kept myself busy while I wait. I looked around and two familiar people were looking at me. Eraserhead and Present Mike. I better make quick, for sure they'll follow me. I then turned back and played on my phone. After a few minutes I got my coffee and left, making sure they didn't follow me. Once I was sure they weren't following me, the smile faded. I should probably get a new disguise if I don't want people to recognize me, which I obviously don't want. I then went to go buy a new disguise and cat food since I'm running low. When I finished, I went into an alley and teleported home. I gave the cats food and sat down on a desk. What can I do? Hey, how about we go to the park? The cats turned around and ran to me, and without a warning, Luna teleported us to a park not too far from the school. I fell hard on my butt and the cats just looked at me. Next time, give me a warning. Warning. I just laughed and stood up, dusting myself, and the cats ran away. Catch us if you can. Hey. I then ran after them and we played like that the entire day. I'm exhausted. I am currently laying on the grass with the cats. But it was fun. Yeah, it was. Hey Ragdoll, do you and the others have any abilities? We do, but we need to unlock them. We gave to do a certain thing to unlock them, but we don't know what it is. Oh, do you know what kind of abilities you need to unlock? No, I don't, but I do know that once we unlock it, we'll all be able to talk through our minds. That's cool. I'm sure you and the others will be powerful once you unlock them. Yeah, then we can help you. I laughed and sat up. How about we go home? They got up and Luna teleported us home. I gave them food and water since they looked tired and got ready for patrol. Might as well go patrol early, me. When I finished, I checked if I have everything and teleported to the tallest building's roof, sat at the edge and listened for any screams. If I see any of those heroes again, I'll throw a glitter bomb. They deserve it. I then stood up and teleported to a different roof and went to go look around. I then felt a presence and put my voice changer on. You can come out, Hawks. I know you're following me. Me. He then flew down and we stood face to face. Why you following me, chicken? Nothing for you to know of, and don't call me that, Hawks. Nope, and I know your past, so you can quit the act. Me. He looked stunned and looked down. You know nothing, Hawks. Yes, I do. I've gone through the same thing as you, and you don't have to be locked up in a cage anymore. Stand up for yourself and show the commission who you are. You're a hero, remember that. Well, see. I then ran away and watched the city. Well, I never thought of that. He knows about me, yet I don't know anything about him. He really is something. He understood me. I will protect him no matter what. I will be his hero. So cute. I don't even know if all of that makes sense. I should probably follow him just to make sure he's safe. I then opened my wings and flew to the sky. He was sitting on the edge of a roof. He then started singing and it was beautiful. He then stood up. Why are you still following me? Shadow. He turned around and looked right at me, so I went down and landed in front of him and let out an awkward chuckle. You better have a reason or else, Shadow. Or else what? He then threw something at me and it was a glitter bomb. You want another one? Shadow. Nope, I'm out. And so, I flew away. I really need to be more careful around him. Izuku POV. Finally, he left me alone. He probably wanted to see where I live. Well, what a shame, he ain't gonna find out anytime soon. Anyway, let's just patrol and ignore the heroes. I'm so tired. Why did there have to be so many criminals tonight? I then teleported to my room and changed. When I finished, I sat on a desk and play on my phone. The cats were still asleep, so I tried to stay as quiet as possible. I'll wait for them to wake up and then we can go somewhere for the day. Time skip. Sorry for the many time skips. Grinning face with sweat. I am still sitting on the desk, playing on my phone, seeing as I have nothing else to do. Morning, Izuku. I then looked away from my phone to see all the cats awake. Good morning. I see all of you have woken up from your beauty sleep. Me. What are we going to do today? How about we walk around the city and see what we can do, but first, I want to go somewhere quickly. Me. I then put on my new disguise, take some money and teleport us to the cat cafe. I then went in and bought me a black coffee and treats for the cats. Can Luna teleport us somewhere? Luna then teleported us to a lake. It was in a forest and close to the school. I took my shoes and socks off and put my feet in the water and drank my coffee. The cats started using their abilities and played with each other. Izuku, come play with us. I chuckled and played with them. We are now laying on the ground, tired from how much we ran around. How about we go home? I then stood up and put my socks and shoes on, but the cats just laid. I'll carry you if you'd like. Me. Luna then teleported on my shoulder and laid around my neck. Ragdoll sat on my head, Kiki and Mimi sat on my shoulders. I then started walking home. All the heroes on Shadow's case is having a meeting about last night. So you're saying he does have family problems and he forgets his name? Nizu. Yes sir, me. Well that's a problem, wonder how he forgets his name, present Mike. Maybe it has to do with why he became a vigilante? Maybe but we aren't so sure, so let's not jump to conclusions. Tonight, if you see him, do not engage, just follow him and get information on him, Nizu. Yes sir. All heroes except Endeavor and Eraserhead. The meeting then ended and we all went to do our daily things. Wonder if I'll see him during the day, like that'll happen. Izuku POV. I am now sitting in the computer room watching the meeting at UA. These people are so stupid. I can easily hack into the speakers and because of that, I am able to listen to them. So smart of me. I then heard Hawks mention something about my family and me forgetting my name. I do have family issues but I don't forget my name. It was just part of the lyrics chicken. You know, it's actually fine, when they catch me I don't have to tell them my name cause I won't remember. Thanks for the idea chicken. The meeting ended and I just hacked into other things to see if there's anything new. Nothing. Ugh, why do I never have something to do in the day? I'm just gonna go to the library and get me a coffee. I then put on my disguise, leave food for the cats, teleport to the cat cafe and get me coffee and teleport to the library. Wonder how long I'll stay. My back is ending me. Like last time, I spent 10 hours and I was slouching which is why my back is paining. I'm just gonna walk around since I have time to. I then walked around, not knowing where I'm going. Did you hear about the vigilante Shadow? Lady 1. No why? Lady 2. There are people saying that he's only a vigilante because he wants the attention, Lady 1. What a freak. Lady 2. So there's someone making things up. I don't care, it's not that important. I then teleported to a roof like always and sat down. Might as well sing if I'm here. Now that I'm done, what are you guys doing here? We wanted to know if you were okay because you were taking long and we got bored. I'm fine, just wanted some fresh air. I then stood up and looked around. You want to play a game? They all then looked at me. Catch me if you can. I then ran and jumped from roof to roof. I know they're only cats but they have quirks so it will be easy for them to catch me. What the hell did I just witness? First I find a random boy singing, then he teleport 4 cats to him and now they are running on the roofs. I don't know if I'm going insane or not. Whatever I'm going to KFC, chicken nuggies. Izuku POV. We are currently at home and the cats are asleep. As for me I am walking around the school, looking if there's anything useful. I really have nothing to do. I just sighed and teleported to my room and fell asleep. Time skip to night. Aizawa POV. Like any other night, we plan to capture Shadow again. Let's get this over with. Shadow POV. I am now sitting on the same roof like always. I might see Aizawa since this is where we normally bump into each other and speaking of Aizawa here he is, heading right towards me. I'm too tired for this. What do you want hobo, me? I just want to talk, Aizawa. Really? Well, I don't so I'll be on my way, me. I then stood up and jumped across the roofs ignoring the hobo's calls. Can't I have some time alone? Now that I was far from him, I stopped running and just looked at the sky. Why is the world so corrupted, me? And so I listened for any screams like always and walked around. So far I heard nothing but I have seen the heroes and it seemed like they were following me. Let's just face them already. I then stopped and looked around. Come out already, I know you're following me, me. Eraserhead, Present Mike, Indehor, Beach Mite, Hawks and Midnight then came out and stood around me. If they don't stop trying to catch me, I might go insane. Just surrender, you are surrounded, there's no use fighting. Beach Mite. Come and get me a hole, me. And so the fight begun again. Indehor sent fireballs at me but I covered it in shadows and it disappeared. New trick I have, you like it? Stop playing around villain. Indehor. Hawks then sent feathers at me and Present Mike sent a sound wave but I made a shield around me with the shadows and sent my own shadow feathers at Hawks. One rule, always keep your guard up, Midnight. She was about to kick me but I teleported behind her and kicked her back. Take your own advice, me. I then felt something surround my waist and it was Aizawa's scarf. Beach Might was then about to punch me but I teleported behind Beach Might and kicked him. Hawks sent his feathers, Midnight was about to punch me and Present Mike sent another sound wave at me but before I got hit, I made a shield around me and sent spikes at them. Would you just give up? There's no use trying to catch me. It would be easier if you just surrender, Aizawa. I stopped controlling them, Beach Might was stuck in the wall, Aizawa and Hawks were nowhere to be found, the others were standing confused. Where the hell did they go? Then all of a sudden, a fireball was shot at me but I used my error ability and turned it into ice. What the hell did you do? In Dehor. I didn't answer and just ran away and kept an eye out for Hawks and Aizawa. The others were running after me but I managed to lose them and hide in an alley. What can I do now that they're gone? Me. I then stood up and climbed to the roof. I then heard a few sounds but I couldn't see anything and then it hit me. I chuckled and looked around. Stop being pussies and come out, me. Hawks and Aizawa then came out and I got into a fighting stance. We don't want to fight, Aizawa. You sure about that? I wouldn't be holding my scarf like that, me. He then took his scarf off and put it to the side. Can we just talk? Hawks. If you take your feathers back then maybe, me. He then took his feathers away from me and I stood straight, keeping my guard up. Nisa requests for you to teach at UA, Aizawa. I then started laughing my ass off and they just looked at me like I was crazy. I then stopped laughing and got serious. And why should I accept the request? We'll have to force you to come with us then, Hawks. Let's see if you can, me. Aizawa grabbed his scarf and shot it at me and Hawks sent his feathers but I made a shadow shield and sent shadow feathers at Hawks and teleported behind Aizawa and tried to punch him but he blocked. Then all of a sudden, more surprises, Luna and Ragdoll teleported next to me. What are they doing here? Hawks. Izuku, are you okay? I'm fine, go back home, it's dangerous here. All the others then appeared and stood in front of me. What are you doing? We're trying to help. Izuku please, just this once. Fine, be careful. Will do. Mimi then started floating and floated towards Hawks and he started screaming. Aizawa then tried to catch me with his scarf but Kiki used Black Whip and made a shield around me. Ragdoll, tell Kiki to get his scarf. On it. I then went to go punch Aizawa but he blocked and punched me in the stomach. Nice shot there, hobo. Hawks then came flying at me and tried to grab me but I used the shadows and pulled him down. I trapped Aizawa in a shadow cage and Kiki took his scarf with the help of Mimi. Can I go now? We're not done yet, Hawks. Hawks then got up and took 2 feathers and used it as swords so I made me 2 shadow swords. Now we're even. I smirked but they can't see it, and ran at him. He kept blocking and it was as if he didn't want to fight and I was getting tired so I kicked him in the stomach making him move back and released Aizawa. Ragdoll, you and the others can go home, I'll see ya in a bit. And so Luna teleported them home. Tell Nizu I decline, me. I then turned around and walked away but then I felt something sharp go into my arm so I looked at what it was and it was a dart and Hawks was standing with a tranquilizer gun. Before I could teleport home, I felt too dizzy to teleport and I fell and passed out but before I completely passed out Hawks caught me and said something. It's okay now, we got you, Hawks. Aizawa POV. We finally caught him, we are lucky we brought a tranquilizer gun. Right now me and Hawks are at UA in the infirmary room waiting for him to wake up. After an hour he finally wakes up. Shadow POV. What the hell just happened? Where am I? I then opened my eyes and regretted it from the light and I could tell there were 2 other people in the room. I then opened my eyes again and sat up. Hello sleepyhead. Hawks. I then looked around the room and it looked like I was in the infirmary at UA. You got to be effing kidding me. I then tried to use my quirk but it wasn't working. I'll be removing that thing where Aizawa's quirk doesn't work on him. I then looked at my wrist and I had a quirk canceller on. Then noticed that I had my mask on which I was thankful for. I then heard a knock at the door and in came my favorite detective. I see you finally caught him erasure, Detective Tsukachi. Fancy seeing you here detective, me. I'll just be asking you some questions and be honest, Detective Tsukachi. Fine but I won't promise that I'll tell you everything, me. Tsukachi's POV. What's your name? Not telling, Shadow. Guess I'll have to wait on that. Age. 14. Shadow. True. Why'd you become a vigilante? To become a hero and prove heroes wrong. True. Did you have any problems at home? Me. He seemed to have hesitated before answering. No, Shadow. Lie. So he wants to prove heroes wrong. What for though, and why won't he tell the truth about his family? I'll have to find out another time. That will be all. I'll be taking my leave. Have nice night. Erasure. Hawks. Me. I then stood up and left. Shadow. POV. So, where am I going now? Prison? No, you're underage and you're telling me I've been chasing a 14-year-old for almost 2 years? Aizawa. Sucks to be you. He just sighed and climbed into his sleeping bag. But seriously, where am I going? With Aizawa, unfortunately, Hawks. Ah, Hawks is sad. Is it just me, or do I smell a ship smirking face? Wait, what? Aizawa. Did you forget already? You said so yourself, Hawks. Aizawa sighed again and fell asleep. You'll be able to leave tomorrow. I'll be going now, Sue tomorrow, Hawks. He then left and I was left with Aizawa, who was sleeping on the floor in silence. Might as well try to sleep since it's nearly morning. And so I tried but couldn't. I just want to sleep. Guess we have the same problem. Slightly smiling face. Time skipped to morning. Aizawa. POV. What's the time? I then sat up and my soul nearly left my body when I saw Shadow staring at me. How long were you awake? Since last night. You're still lucky you can sleep, seeing as we both have insomnia also. When are we going? Shadow. I just need to sign some papers and then we'll go. Me. I then stood up and left. Shadow. POV. Now that I think about it, why didn't I escape while he was asleep? I'm so stupid. Now that he left, I looked around to find a way out. A freaking window. I can just jump out and run away. I then got up and went to open the window, but it was locked. You got to be kidding. Come on, open up. Why are you talking to a window? All of a sudden something wrapped around my waist. I thought you would try to escape, Aizawa. I sighed and faced him. Can you let me go? He then let me go and threw some clothes at me. Put those on before we leave, Aizawa. I then got changed and came out with the mask still on. Can't you take the mask off? Aizawa. Nope, this thing will always stay on. He then wrapped his scarf around me and basically dragged me to the car, and the whole drive to his house was silent. Just when Aizawa opened the door to their not-so-big house, Present Mike jumped onto him and they fell to the ground. Esucho, where you been? Present Mike. Halfway through his sentence, Aizawa used his quirk on him. Nice reunion here, and I think I'm now deaf. Me. After standing up, Present Mike looked at me. I was watching this problem child, Aizawa. Are we gonna stand outside all day or go inside? We then went inside and I just plopped onto the ground. What are you doing? Aizawa. Going over my life. Me. Anyway, this is Hisashi, my husband, also known as Present Mike, Aizawa. Hisashi then looked at me, then turned to Aizawa. So who and what's he doing here? Present Mike. This is Shadow and I adopted him, Aizawa. What? I thought you were only looking after me. Someone then came downstairs. Papa, is Dad home yet? Wait, who are you? Shinso, this is your brother, Present Mike awkwardly said. Wait, I did not agree to this. You had no choice, Aizawa. Why did I have to get captured? Anyway, this is Shinso. Shinso, this is Izuku, Aizawa said, but Izuku cut him off. Shinso, can you show Izuku to the spare room? Aizawa. Okay, follow me, Shinso. I then got up and followed him to my room. So this'll be your room, and if you need anything, I'm in the room next to yours, Shinso. He then went to do his own business and I searched through my pockets for my lock breaker. I then used it to break the quirk canceller and it broke. Yes, now I can escape. I then got an idea. Or I can stay. I wouldn't have to live in an abandoned school anymore and I can just sneak out and patrol. But for now, let's go get my stuff. I then teleported to the school and the cats jumped on me and I fell. Izuku, where were you? I got captured, but I'm fine now. I just came to get my stuff. Me. For what? I'm moving in with them. Me. Are you insane? It's fine, I'll leave when I need to. Me. I then went to get my things and in just a few minutes I was done. The cats looked like they were sad. You guys coming? You're not leaving us? Of course not, why would I? They then ran to me and I teleported to my new room. This will be quite chaotic. Izuku POV. I've been sitting in my room for the past 2 hours, thinking of an excuse of how my things are here. I also found a way of putting the quirk canceller back on and it wasn't that hard. I then a knock by my door and put my mask on. Come in. The door opened and Aizawa and Hisashi came in. Where did you get all of this? Present Mike. I just pointed at Luna. Aizawa seemed like he just wanted to rub all the cats but he didn't. Where'd they come from and where'd you get all this? Aizawa. Long story short, they have quirks and teleported to me and they brought my stuff. Me. Let's put that aside. What's your full name, Izuku? Aizawa. Not telling. Me. Fine. I'm not gonna force it out of you, Aizawa. Wait, he's not? I thought he would. Anyways, we're having dinner, come downstairs, Hisashi. They then left and I sighed in relief. They bought it. I'm so lucky right now. I then got up and went downstairs and once I took a step into the room, all eyes were on me. What? You're still wearing your mask, Hisashi. I then took it off, feeling annoyed about how eager they were to see my face. Happy? They just stared at me. Can we eat now? I'm once again sitting in my room trying to fall asleep. Why must it be so hard to fall asleep? I'll just try to fall asleep, knowing full well I won't. Aizawa POV. I'm currently doing some paperwork and it's giving me a headache. I need coffee. Zashi then came in with 2 cups in hand and gave me one. You read my mind. Me. What you working on? Zashi. There were reports of dead people found in a few alleys in the abandoned part of Hosu. I said, taking a sip of my well-deserved coffee. Oh, I hope we find whoever did this quick, Zashi. Yeah, anyways, what are the boys doing? Shinso just woke up and Izuku still hasn't gotten out of his room, Zashi. I'll go check on him, me. I then got up and went to his room. I knocked on his door but he didn't answer, so I knocked again and he still didn't answer. I opened his door and found him and the cats asleep. He must have only fallen asleep a few hours ago. I then closed his door and went back to my room where Zashi was waiting for me. So, Zashi. He's still asleep, me. My phone then started ringing and I picked it up. Hello. Hello, Aizawa. I heard you caught the vigilante, Nizu. It was the rat Satan himself. Yes, I did. Could you perhaps bring him to UA so I could have a chat with him? Nizu. Wonderful. I'll see you in a few hours. Nizu, I spoke so formal, which is rare for me, face with tears of joy. He then hang up and I sighed. Who was it? Zashi. Nizu, we wants to have a chat with Izu, me. Wonder why. I'll go wake Izuku up and tell him, Zash. Don't tell him where we're taking him. Also, tell Shinso we'll be back in a bit, me. He nodded and left, while I continued with my work. Izuku POV. I woke up to someone shaking me, which was not a pleasant feeling. Oh, okay, I'm up, me. I then sat up and glared at whoever woke me up, which was Hisashi. Sorry to wake you up, little listener, but we want you to meet someone to have a chat, Hisashi. Where to? You'll see. Also, I made you breakfast, Zashi. He then left my room and I got up. Wonder who I'll be meeting. Well, that was one horrible breakfast. Luckily, Aizawa made me more breakfast, which was the best. Hisashi burnt the food and Aizawa had to make me, but anyways, we were now driving to I don't know where and the whole drive was silent and at some point I had fallen asleep. I was once again woken up by Hisashi. We're here, little listener, Hisashi. I then got out of the car and looked around. UA? What the hell are we doing here? Just follow us, Aizawa. I nodded and followed them inside. After a while we stopped in front of a door and Aizawa knocked on it until we heard someone say, come in. We then went inside. Nice to finally see you, Shadow, Nizu. Oh, so this is why we're here. Never thought I'd be speaking to the rat Satan himself. Nice to see you too, Nizu, me. Could you two leave while we have a chat? Nizu. Hisashi and Aizawa then left, so it was only me and Nizu. Have a seat, Nizu. I then sat down and gave Nizu a confused expression. You're probably thinking why you're here. Well, the thing is, I want you to attend at UA. Nizu. I just looked at Nizu like he was crazy. You do know you're letting a vigilante into your school and I'm only 14, me. I know what I'm doing and it's only 10 months till the entrance exam, so I don't see the problem. Nizu. This is Nizu we're dealing with, he probably wants something in return. What's the catch? You protect your class and you'll maybe be able to continue patrol, only if a pro hero is with you, deal? Nizu. I mean, it's not a bad deal, but I'll have to have a pro hero by my side. I can deal with that. Deal. Anyways, how about a game of chess? Nizu. Sure. We then played chess for a few hours on end and I won all rounds until I had to go home. Skipped. We were now on our way back home and I was just staring out the window. So what were you and Nizu talking about? Aizawa. About me attending you, me. So are you? Aizawa. Yes, I am, me. That's great. Can't wait to see what a great hero you'll be. Hizashi. Me. Wonder who'll be in my class and I am definitely not excited. Izuku POV. Time skip to entrance exam, I don't know what to put. Grinning face with sweat. For the past 10 months I've been training and I managed to continue patrolling. Over the months me and Shinso started bonding and I figured out what to call Aizawa and Hizashi, obviously Dadzawa and Papa Mike smirking face. Anyways, I am now staring at the ceiling cause I couldn't sleep and I'm waiting for my alarm to go off. After it went off, I stood up and my ribs were in pain from the battle I had last night on patrol. I ignored the pain and got ready. I went downstairs and made us all breakfast. When I was done, everyone was already sitting by the dining table waiting. Morning, me. Morning, Dadzawa, Papa Mike, Shin. We all ate and went to UA. Me and Shin went in first so that no one knew we were related to Dadzawa and Papa Mike. We were on our way to the room where we will be doing our written exam. The Uraraka scene will not happen upside down face. Once we got there, Shin sat somewhere in the middle and I sat in the last row, against the wall and fell asleep. Skipped. I was woken up by someone yelling and I heard them say something about Papa. I just wanted to sleep. I sat up and glared at the person and he looked like he had a stick up his ass. Excuse me sir, I've got a question. Stick up ass, hey Ida. Hit me. Papa. On the printout you've listed 4 types of villains, not 3, with all respect. If this is an error on official UA materials, it is shameful. We are exemplary students. We expect the best from Japan's most noticeable school. A mistake such as this won't do. Stick up S. Okay Mr. Know-It-All, I'm gonna go back to sleep. He then turned around and pointed at me. And you. If you're gonna sleep through the whole explanation of what's gonna happen, then you shouldn't be here to waste everyone else's time. Stick up S. I stood up and glared daggers into him. Well, if you didn't interrupt present Mike, he would have explained the 4th villain and we have an instruction paper in front of us, so I know what to do and what would happen. If I were you, I would sit my ass down. My apologies, present Mike. You may continue, me. No problem, little listener. Now as I was saying Papa Mike. I sat back down and continued to sleep before noticing Bakugou was next to me. Just my luck. Just act normal and everything will be fine. After explaining what to do, they gave us our written exam. I had finished mine in 40 minutes and gave it, go to the teacher's lounge and take a nap. Skipped. I woke up just a few minutes before we had to do the physical exam. Might as well get me some coffee. And so I did that and chugged it down. When I finished, I went to Battle Center B and got ready. Can I get a yeah? Since everyone remained silent, I thought I should at least say it. Yeah. I got a few weird stares, but I didn't mind. I was pumped up. The gates opened and I immediately ran through. I heard a few people saying he's cheating, and Papa Mike saying something about a countdown. They were definitely not ready for that, but does it look like I care? No, I don't. Anyways, let's get this over with. And so, I started destroying the robots like it was nothing. I'm guessing I have 100 and something by now. Might Oswell take a break and let the other people destroy the robots? I teleported to a roof and watched the people. Dadzawa POV. I was currently in the spectator room with the other heroes and I was keeping a close eye for Izuku, and I'm impressed by how many points he has. What's he doing and why isn't he doing the exam? Indehor pointed at Izuku. Izuku Aizawa, and if you're so blind, he's taking a break giving the other people a chance to destroy the robots. Me. He then looked at his points and his eyes widened, probably because Izuku's points are higher than his son's. I didn't know you had a son, Aizawa. Oh my. I didn't think I had to tell you. Me. I looked at Nizu and he had a grin on his face. Whatever he's thinking, I don't want to know. Let's see if he can deal with this. Nizu. He then pressed the red button and out came the 0-pointer. Izuku POV. I was currently thinking about sleeping right here, but my train of thought was stopped by the ground shaking. Now I have to deal with the 0-pointer. Come on, I just want to sleep. You know what, I'll just walk away like I saw nothing. I stood up and was about to walk off until I heard a scream and I immediately searched for whoever screamed. There was a girl stuck under some rubble and the 0-pointer was about to step on her. Guess I ain't walking away. I then teleported next to her, shadow manipulate the rubble off her and teleport her to the side. Before the robot stepped on me, I used my error ability, breaking it, and it fell to the back. Time's up. I then ran to girl from earlier. Are you okay? Are you hurt? I'm okay. I just sprained my ankle, girl, Uraraka. I then picked her up and started walking to RG, recovery girl. Hey, I can walk. Too late, I'm already carrying you. Me. I just ignored her and kept walking. Once I got to RG, I put her down and was about to walk away, but then she grabbed my arm. Thank you for saving me. No problem, me. I then teleported to the teacher's lounge and fell asleep. Time skip 1 week. Izuku POV. I was peacefully sleeping, exhausted from last night until I was woken up by a loud cockatoo barging into my room. Izuku, your letter's here. I fell out of bed, stand up and take a fighting stance. Sorry, Papa Mike. He then awkwardly laughed and handed me the letter, pulled me downstairs and made me sit down at the dining table where everyone else was sitting, and Shin also had his letter. Open on 3? Shin. 1, me. 2, Shin. 3, me and Shin. We then opened our letters and a disc fell out playing a projector of All Might. Why this speech? You could have had someone else tell me if I pass or not. Hello, young Aizawa. All Might. I felt like cringing at how he looks in a suit. He pretty much looks the same as trash, no difference. You have achieved 40 villain points. But how can a hero course reject people who saves others and do the right thing? Call that lip service? All Might. Come on, don't tell me a whole essay and get to the point. Besides, I already know about the rescue points. This is a job that requires risking one's life to put that lip service into practice. Rescue points. You have achieved 60 rescue points. All Might. They still gave rescue points knowing full well everyone will be focused on the robots. Welcome, young Aizawa, to your hero academia. All Might. Yes, I did copy almost everything from the anime. The disc then turned off and I wasn't that surprised by my points. Hey, no fair. He gets a disc while I just get a letter. Shin. Well, what does yours say? I got accepted. Shin. Congrats, you too. Now let's go celebrate. And so for the rest of the day we celebrated, and I haven't had this much fun in a while. Time skip to the first day at UA. Damn you, insomnia. Why do I not get sleep on important days? Just like any other day, no sleep. I can't do anything about it, so I'll just have to continue with my day. I got up, got dressed, and went downstairs to get my coffee. When I got there, Shin and Dadzuo were drinking some coffee, and I'm guessing they didn't get any sleep either. No sleep? Nope. Dadzuo and Shin. Same. I then got my coffee and made us breakfast since it looked like Dadzuo was too tired to make. Mike came down and started laughing at how tired we looked. Ignoring that, I ate my breakfast and got my things ready to leave. I was now on my way to class with Shin. In this, Oshinso and Izuku are in the same class replacing Mineta, and even though I've been in Udata before, this place is big as hell. Once we found our class, I felt like going back home. I'm teleporting inside. Me. I then shadow leaped behind Dadzuo's desk. I wish I had one of the cats with me. Wonder how long it'll take for them to notice me, but I hope they don't. I then fell asleep and it was like heaven, except for the yelling from my classmates. Dadzuo POV. I was now on my way to class in my sleeping bag. Let's hope this year I won't have any problem children. I was now laying in front of my classroom door about to interrupt a conversation. Go somewhere else if you want to play at being friends. This is the hero course, me. I then climbed out of my sleeping bag and got inside my class. It took you 8 seconds before you were quiet. Time is limited. You kids are not rational enough. They just stared at me, probably because they don't know me. I'm your homeroom teacher, Shota Aizawa. Nice to meet you, me. I then looked around at the class and noticed Izuku wasn't here. I gave Shinso a confused look and he pointed to my desk. I went behind my desk and found Izuku asleep. Problem child. I then tapped on him to wake him up and he woke up. Come on, class is starting, me. He just nodded and got out from under my desk and went to his seat. He sits behind Bakugou and he didn't recognize him but he felt familiar. Where did he come from? How long was he there? Shut up, I said with my quirk active. And just like that, they were dead quiet. It's kind of sudden but put this on and go out to the field, I said taking out their gym clothes. They then ran out except Izuku and Shinso, they just walked out, taking their own time. Izuku POV. I just realized, how am I supposed to hide my scars? I'll just change after everyone has left. Me and Shinso arrived at the changing rooms. Shinso saw Izuku's scars already. When we went in it was empty and we quickly changed. When we were done we walked to the field. You did that on purpose, huh? Shin. What do you mean? You don't want the others seeing your scars. It's fine, they probably won't even take note of it, Shin. Maybe, me. We then got to the field and Dadzawa started to explain why we're here. You'll be doing a quirk assessment test, Dadzawa. A quirk assessment test? Whole class except me and Shin. Wow, no need to scream, it's not even that hard, that's because you did it before. What about the entrance ceremony and the orientation? Pink cheeks, Uraraka. If you're going to become a hero you don't have time for such leisurely events. UA's selling point is how unrestricted its school traditions are. That's also how the teachers run their classes. You kids have been doing these since junior high, too, right? Dadzawa. He didn't tell me he was going to tell us a whole essay. I could have been sleeping right now. Physical fitness tests where you weren't allowed to use your quirks. The country still uses averages taken from results from students not using their quirks. It's not rational. Well, the Ministry of Education is procrastinating. Izuku, you finished at the top of the practical exam, right? In junior high, what was your best result for the softball throw? Dadzawa, I copied that entire thing from the anime. That's how lazy I am. 56 meters. Me, I made that up. Then, try doing it with your quirk, Dadzawa. He then threw the ball at me, I caught it and went in the middle of the circle. I could already tell Katsuki is angry he didn't place first. Do whatever you want as long as you stay in the circle. Hurry up, Dadzawa. What can I use? I'll just teleport it. Should I teleport it to the moon? Now let's rather not show off. I then threw it before teleporting it far from the school. Dadzawa then showed us what the distance was. 605 meters, Dadzawa. 605 meters? Everyone except me, Shin, Dadzawa and Katsuki. They then stared at me. Well, now I'm an enemy, huh? I'm gonna hate this year. We then continued with all the tests and Katsuki got first, I'm second, Todoroki is third and so on. We then got changed but like last time, I took my time with Shinso accompanying me. We then continued with school and the day finally ended. Finally now I can rest and play with the cats. Time skip to next day. Izuku POV. I am currently on my way to class and I'm tired, I didn't get much sleep. Once I got into the class, I sat down inside. By the way, he sits right at the back of Bakugou's row and no one is in the class. Shinso went to Dad to tell him something. I wonder what the cats are doing there. Probably sleeping, wish I was them. Time skipped. It was now lunchtime and I really didn't want to talk to anyone, let alone be around anyone. I teleported to the roof and laid down on the ground. I hope no one finds me, they'll for sure make a conversation. Just then I heard the door open and in came Kirishima, the person I didn't expect to see. God hates me, how about we jump off the building? Wait, how am I gonna explain that? I'll survive and people will definitely question me. Guess that won't happen. Hey Izubro. Kirishima. Izubro? It's a nickname. Kirishima. Oh, me. What are you doing here? I thought you'd be getting you lunch, Kirishima. Not hungry and there's too much people, me. Oh, well I brought lunch, if you want you can have, Kirishima. He then sat down next to me and I felt myself blush but it was unnoticeable. We ate in silence until we heard the bell. You didn't have to sit here with me, you know, me. It's fine. But for now we better be quick or we'll be late. Kirishima. Don't worry, I'll handle it, me. I then grabbed his hand and shadow jumped us not too far from class and let go of his hand. His face looked red, like his hair smirking face. So your quirk's teleportation. That's so cool. Kirishima. It's not exactly my quirk but it is cool I guess, me. Then what is your quirk? Kirishima. I'd rather not say, me. It's totally cool dude, I'm not forcing ya. Kirishima. We then got in class and sat down. Dad then got out his sleeping bag and started explaining about what we would be doing now. So now you'll be having hero basic training but I won't be taking you, unfortunately, Dadzawa. Dad mumbled the last part so no one heard it except for me. Wait, if Dad's not gonna train us then who is? Don't tell me. We then heard some laughing and I instantly knew who it was. He then opened the door and it is who I had guessed. I am here, coming through this door like a normal person. All beach. Like hell you are. Now put on your hero costumes and meet me at Gound Beta. All beach. We then got our costumes and left to go change. I'm guessing my vigilante suit is in it. I don't mind it though. After walking really slow, I got to the changing room and no one was in. I then opened my case and saw a note on top of what doesn't look like my suit. Guess May took care of my suit. Well, what does the note say? I don't know, read it. Also he knows May. Dear Izuku. I just thought you could use a suit and this one is just for you. If you want me to change some stuff just tell me. From it. I then looked at the suit and it really isn't my style but it would work, for now. What the suit looks like. After changing I rushed to ground beta and I made it just in time. Young Aizawa, you finally made it, now let's get started. All beach. They then gather up around him but I just stood at the back. Kirishima then stood next to me. Hey, what are you doing here at the back? We should go closer, Kirishima. I prefer being at the back, thank you very much, me. Oh, then do you mind if I stand here too? Kirishima. I don't mind, me. Kirishima looked a bit red. You'll be split into villains versus heroes and fight 2-on-2 indoor battles, all beach. The class then started asking questions about the battles and after answering he went on. Anyways, the villains will have a nuclear weapon that will be hidden. The heroes will have to depose it. The heroes will have to capture the heroes or capture the nuclear weapon. Villains have to protect the weapon or capture the heroes. Teams will be decided by these lots. All beach. Villain versus hero. Bakugou suits the villain role. We then decided on who is with who. Izuku, Achiko. B. Mezu, Shoto. Minoru, Momo. D. Katsuki, Tenya. Mina, Yuga. F. Rikido, Koji. G. Denki, Kyuka. S. Tokoyami, Tiu. I. Mashareo, Toru. Hanta, Tijiro. Our first battle will be, all beach. He then scratched around in the boxes and took out 2 letters. Team D and A. Team A will be heroes and Team D will be villains. Heroes, you have 5 minutes to make a plan. Villains, plan on where you want to have the nuclear bomb. The rest of the class, head toward the monitor room. All beach. I'm up against Bakugou, it must be fate. Now I can show him how much stronger I've gotten. Oh. It must be fate that we're together. Uraraka. Yeah, me. Whatever you say, simp. While Katsuki and Ida went inside, me and Uraraka made a plan. So, here's the plan. Bakugou would probably come for me so while I distract him, you go look for the bomb. Ida would be protecting the bomb so you'll have to deal with him. Got it? Got it? Uraraka. Time's up. Heroes may enter. All beach. We then walked in and immediately heard explosions coming straight towards us. Go up, the bomb should be on the last floor. Me. Okay. Good luck. Uraraka. She then ran off and I just continued walking towards the noise of explosions while smirking. Let's see if you're as tough as you say, Kaken. Third-person POV, not very good with fight scenes. Bakugou was now coming straight at Izuku, but he just stood still, waiting for him to deliver an explosion. Shiny! Bakugou! Just before Bakugou could explode him, Izuku teleported behind him and kicked his back and Bakugou fell to the floor. Looks like you've gotten weaker, Kaken, Izuku. You're dead, Bakugou. He fired multiple explosions at Izuku and once the dust dispersed, he was gone. Just admit it, you're getting weak, Izuku. Bakugou then turned around ready to fire another explosion but got punched in the face. You're really a skin for it? Bakugou. Deku and I found the bomb. What do I do now? There's nothing I can use my quirk on, Uraraka. Bakugou then went after Izuku but he teleported behind a wall not too far. Try to stall some time for me and when I give you my signal, move back. Izuku. While Izuku was distracted by Uraraka, Bakugou found him and sent an explosion at him which hit his back but instantly healed. Izuku is trying to keep his quirks a secret except for the teleportation quirk. What the hell? You have 2 quirks. Bakugou. Izuku just teleported in front of him and uppercut him. Let's cut to the chase, shall we? Bakugou. He then backed away with a grin and held up his arms. You see these gauntlets? They're filled with my sweat and once I pull this trigger this whole place will blow. Let's see if you can withstand this. Bakugou. Young Bakugou, don't, you could end him. Oh my. That's if he doesn't doggy. Bakugou. He then pulled the trigger and a much more bigger explosion was shot but Izuku pushed his arm facing it to the ceiling and it broke through the ceilings going to the floor Uraraka was on and he gave the signal. Now Uraraka. Izuku. She then used her quirk on the gravel and shot them at Ida. While he was caught off guard Uraraka floated to the weapon and basically hugged it, winning the exercise. Hero team wins. If anyone is injured, go to recovery girl. Oh my. While Uraraka was celebrating, Izuku just stood there in front of Bakugou looking down at him with a smirk. Looks like I win, Kaken, Izuku. He then walked away and went to the rest of the class. Nice match, Izuku. Mina. Yeah, well played, Izubro. Kirishima. Izuku just smiled in response and went to where Shinso was sitting and watched the next matches. Thumbskip. Izuku POV. When we were finally done, we got changed and went back to class. We did whatever we had to do for the day and the day came to an end. I was now walking to the staff room when someone called my name. Hey Izubro, do you want to hang out sometime? Kirishima. Sure. Is this Friday all right after school? Kirishima. Yeah, all good. Well, I have to go so see you tomorrow. Me. I then teleported to the staff room to avoid people and I laid down. Was it the right decision to say yeah or will I regret it? Probably both. Luna then suddenly appeared and laid on my chest. Luna. What are you doing here? You missed me. Me. You asking her like she's gonna answer but I can't blame you. I talk to my cats too. Seeing as she wouldn't answer, I rubbed her and she fell asleep. Thumbskip. I am now laying in bed staring at the ceiling waiting for the clock to hit 11 so I can patrol. Dad already knows I go on patrol since Nizu assigned him to watch me. In the meantime I got ready and just sat waiting. When it hit 11, I got up and teleported to a random building and watched the streets. Barely anyone walking around tonight. I might not have to do too much today and tomorrow's a school day. I'll sleep during class. Dad shouldn't have a problem seeing as he knows I'm on patrol. When I was about to walk away I heard some shouting so I went towards it and was surprised to see someone familiar. They were in an alley and Kirishima was cornered in the alley. Come on kid, just give me your money and I'll leave you alone, man. I don't have money. Kirishima. You're giving me no other choice, kid. When the man was about to punch him, I teleported in front of Kirishima and punched the man in the stomach and kicked him in the face, knocking him out. You okay? Yeah, thank you. Kirishima. I then used my shadow manipulation and tired the man up with it. You have a phone? Yes, Kirishima. Call the cops and stay here, I'll be watching from on top. Me. I then teleported to the roof and sat down, waiting for the cops to come. When I heard the sirens I stood up and was about to leave until Kirishima spoke. Thanks again for saving me. Kirishima. I just waved nonchalantly and ran away. This is the third time I saved someone from my class. I saved Uraraka and Denki before I entered UA, but it still counts. What was Kirishima even doing out at this time? Ignoring the question, I continued with patrol and saved some people. When patrol was finally over, I teleported home and laid in bed to sleep, but my insomnia had other plans. Guess I'm staying up. The cats came onto my bed and laid next to me, easily falling asleep while I rubbed them. The sun rised and I got up to get done seeing as I'm already awake. I then decided to go for a walk, and so I teleported to the beach and just watched the sunrise until a certain someone came and frickin' lift me up. Put me down. Well, good morning to you too, Hawks. He knows Izuku is Shadow. You stalking me now? I teleported to the ground and face him while he just smiles at me. No, how can I keep an eye on you when you teleporting, Hawks? I just shrugged and walked away. See you at you, Hawks. He then flew away and I walked towards the school. Guess he'll be coming to UA today. Just great. Izuku POV. When I arrived at UA, I went to the teacher's lounge to tell Dadzawa where I went to. He wouldn't be worried. After getting scolded, I went to my class and sat at my desk looking out the window. I have this sudden feeling of ending myself for some reason. A few minutes later, more people came in and they started talking extremely loud, so I teleported to the school roof and just tried to calm down. I was irritated, mad and tired and definitely in a bad mood, but it's fine. Just be calm and it will be fine. Fine my ass. I sat there just looking at the view until I sadly had to leave for classes. I just teleported back to my desk as if nothing happened and waited for Dad to get here. When he finally came, he had something to say. Before we start classes, I have an assignment for all of you, Dadzawa. I could tell that everyone was nervous and tired from what we had to do yesterday, and there were only a few people that didn't as nervous and tired as them, including me. Pick a class president and keep it low. Only wake me up if someone is dying or when you're done, Dadzawa. He then climbed into his sleeping bag and Ida and Momo went to the front. So who'll be our class president? Momo. Everyone then started saying me, and it was annoying. I didn't want to be part of this, so I just put my head down on the desk, and since I couldn't sleep, I just acted like I was so they could leave me alone. When they finally decided Ida would be our class president, they woke Dad and me up and we got on with class, which was hell. After working hour but off, it was finally break time and I immediately teleported to the roof and just rested there feeling tired and then got bored, so I decided to sing a song to avoid that feeling from Elia, like always. Chasing the feeling of sneaking out in the evening. Where would you meet me? If only love was that easy, eh? Time is moving fast, we try to live it up. These broken clocks, I gave them all my trust. Wasting the daytime until the night comes. Making excuses when we got too drunk. Bad days turning good into not enough. Can't wait for the problem that I don't want. Worst case, we just blame it on growing up. Can't have it all, might as well just do too much. Oh yeah. Can't have it all, might as well just do too much, too much. Can't have it all, might as well just do too much. I won't let go, don't want to be told. I'll take control through all these detours. All these nights I tried to chase those highs, and I'll be honest, let's cut the talking. So we can do it all. Let's make a promise and the options. Yeah. We can do it all. Oh. Bad days turning good into not enough. Can't wait for the problem that I don't want. Worst case, we just blame it on growing up. Can't have it all, might as well just do too much. Oh yeah. Can't have it all, might as well just do too much. Can't have it all, might as well just do too much. Once I finished, I just looked into the sky and relaxed. I then heard something behind me, took my dagger, he had one in a hidden pocket, and nearly threw it towards where the sound came from until I saw who it was. Whoa, it's just me, sorry for scaring you. Also, why do you have a dagger? Kirishima. I then put my dagger in my pocket and turned back around. I have it for just in case something bad happens. Izuku. Oh, why, you know you have a nice voice, right? Kirishima. I just blushed, but it wasn't noticeable. I then stood up and looked down, thinking about how I would have been standing just like this in middle school, ready to give up, until I had the idea of becoming a vigilante, and now here I am. Izuku. Kirishima. I then snapped out of my trance and only noticed that Kirishima was next to me, waving his hand in front of my face and calling out to me. Sorry, just thought of something. Izuku. It's fine, but are you okay? You've been spacing out a lot, Kirishima. It's nothing really, I'm fine, there's no need to be concerned, Izuku. If you say so, Kirishima. The bell then rang and we headed to class. When we got there everyone was basically screaming and I just stood by the door thinking if I can escape this place and go back to how it was before I got captured. Bro, you good? You're glitching? Kirishima. After finally noticing, I calmed my nerves and stopped the glitching. It's just my quirk drawback, Izuku. I then went to go sit down, but before I could I heard someone shout my name and sighed at their behavior. I then got an idea and started to run away. From him. Where you running off to? Hawks. No running in the hall. Ida. I just continued and went up to the roof just to mess with him. This is stupid, but I can at least get this irritating feeling to disappear, but I'm not sure if it will work. I was currently flying after Izuku just to hug him. What did I do to make him start running away? Izuku started running up the stairs and I got a bad feeling. Nah, that's just your feelings messing with ya. We then reached the roof and Izuku finally stopped running and faced me, but he was standing right at the edge. You know, this reminds me how we met. How about we relive that moment? Izuku, suicide beach, just like me. He then leaned back and fell down the roof and I was about to go after him, but before he landed on the ground he disappeared. Izuku. Wherever you went, come out and stop playing. Hawks. I'm fine and I'm right behind you, Izuku. I then turned around and hugged him and he froze. Don't do that, you scared the living heck out of me. Hawks. After a few minutes he pushed me off of him and looked at me as if he wanted to cry. I don't know what I'm writing right now. Don't act like you care, you're just saying that so I wouldn't do that again and I anyways can't die from my stupid quirk. Izuku. I just looked at him before saying something. Are you saying you want to end yourself, Hawks? So what if I do? No one will care. I've been treated like shit since I was 4, but I always ignored all the things they said even though I considered on doing it. That was all until I got this idea of becoming something other than a hero, but look where I am, Izuku. He was crying, so I slowly started walking over to him and hugged him while he cried in my chest and he was glitching. You have people who care about you and we're here for you, so don't think otherwise, Hawks. He then looked up at me. Thanks, Hawks, that makes me feel better, Izuku. I then gave him an assuring smile before asking him something. Now tell me, why did you just jump off the roof like that? Hawks. I had this sudden feeling of doing and I just ignored it at first, but then it just started driving me crazy, I guess. Izuku. If you get that feeling again, just come tell me, or you're one of your dads, okay? Hawks. Okay, and I'm sorry for making you worry, Izuku. It's okay now, come on, you'll miss class, Hawks. It's fine, I'll just teleport us there, Izuku. He then teleported us and before we went in he cleaned himself and went in before me. Izuku, where were you? Aizawa. I'm sure Hawks will explain after class, Izuku. He then sat down and I came in class and Aizawa was glaring at me. Guess I'm dead after I explain. Izuku POV. Let's hope I get out of this sheet after class. Anyway, today you'll be doing rescue training, so put on your hero suits. It will be taken off campus, so we'll be taking a bus. That's all, now get ready, Dadzawa. Our suits then came out the wall in a case and we took it and got ready. As we got ready though I had gotten a bad feeling, but I ignored it until I started overthinking. Why do I have a bad feeling something bad is gonna happen? I'll just ignore it, but what if someone is following us or will be attacked? I have to tell Dad or I can make an excuse about it. Once I finished I went to Dad, who was waiting outside of the bus, probably waiting on me. There you are, you're the only person we're waiting for, so get on so we can leave, Dadzawa. Dad, I think I should stay, Izuku. And why is that? Aizawa. I have a bad feeling that something bad is gonna happen, Izuku. Izuku, stop wasting time and get on, Dadzawa. I was getting mad at him now and I couldn't help but glitch. Why can't he just trust me? Sorry, but that ain't happening. Guess I'll see you there, Izuku. I then teleported to my room before he could wrap me up in his capture weapon. I ran to my cupboard and quickly changed into my vigilante costume. I then teleported on top of the bus and waited till we arrived at our destination. Once we stopped I looked at the place and realized where we were. USJ? Of course they brought us here. I'm so happy I don't have to listen to whatever they were gonna explain. I would have been bored out of my mind. Before the class loaded out I teleported to the roof of the place and watched for anything that looked out of place. Dadzawa POV. I'm sure to give Izuku house arrest when we get back. I'm glad the class believed that he wasn't feeling well. I sighed as we walked into the building and came face to face with the hero 13. I then walked next to her and asked her something. Where's All Might? I thought he was supposed to be here, Dadzawa. He had to deal with something and he ran out of time, 13. I sighed again as I went to go lean against a wall while she explained some stuff. As she was explaining, in the corner of my eye I saw something purple appear in the middle of the building and then people started coming out of it and I got ready to attack. Is the exercise already starting? Kirishima. Everybody get back and don't move. Aizawa. Shadow POV. As I was looking around, there was something coming from the middle of the building and then people started coming out so I got ready to attack. Guess my gut feeling was correct. Just as all the people stopped coming out of the portal I teleported next to their leader which startled everyone and punched him. You didn't expect that, Shigaraki, Shadow? You're that stupid vigilante, Nomu and him. Shigaraki, it's not the one that's supposed to end All Might. He then pointed towards me and a huge creature that he called a Nomu was about to punch me but I used my ability error and used it on his arm which started crumbling and it started screaming. It started regenerating so I used my ability once more on his whole body into non-existence and started beating all the thugs. You NPC. I'm gonna end you. Shigaraki. He was then about to touch my neck but when he did nothing happened. That's an annoying quirk you have there, erase your head, Shigaraki. I then teleported out of his grip and next to Dad since he looked like he needed help. Told you something bad was gonna happen but you just wouldn't listen to me, Shadow. Save the talking for afterwards. Dadzawa. Yeah, Shadow. I then turned around to look at the class and saw that they were busy with who I presume is Kurojiri. Since Dad didn't look like he had a problem I teleported to the class and used my shadow manipulation to pull them away before Kurojiri could warp them elsewhere. Ida, go and warn the pros of our situation. Shadow. How do you know my name and why are you helping us? Ida. No time. Just go and the others block the villain from getting to him. Now go. Shadow. Having no other choice, he used his quirk and ran through the door before Kurojiri could trap him inside as well. Right after he escaped, Kurojiri teleported the class and I elsewhere. Once I was through I fell into the water and saw some villains swimming towards me but then something wrapped around me and pulled me towards the boat, letting me go and saw that it was Tsu and Mineta. Thanks for saving me there, Shadow. I stood up and looked at the villains in the water and quickly made a plan. What are you doing here? Are you here to end us? Mineta. No, just here to stop these people. Anyway, Mineta, when I tell you, use your quirk and throw it in the water and don't ask how I know your name, it's not important. Tsu, when I tell you, take my net and go. Hide somewhere, I'll go help erase your head when we're done. You got that? Shadow. They nodded their heads and I got ready for what I planned. I then closed my eyes and teleported some rocks on top of the villains telling Mineta to do his part and then Tsu. While they were on their way to hide, I teleported to Dad's side to see him being crushed by a different Nomu which looked stronger than the other one. Oi bird brain. Leave him alone. Shadow. The Nomu then let him go and came after me and I turned invisible, ran to him and used error on his arm but he somehow sensed me and punched me into the wall. I slowly got up and my mask fell off. Well, this is gonna take a while. Shadow POV. As everyone stared at me, I used the bit of strength I had left and ran at the Nomu. He got ready to punch me but before he could I teleported on top of him, wrapped my legs around his neck and used my error ability again but on his exposed brain. This better work. He then started screeching and grabbed me. I held on as tight as I could but he was able to throw me and before I hit the wall I teleport back on the ground. The Nomu then started regenerating again. Ice then appeared on the Nomu's legs and I turned to see Todoroki, Kirishima and Bakugou running to it. Do your thing while we hold it. Kirishima. They then held it down and I teleported once again on top of it and used error once again but also used shadow manipulation and stab his brain and started destroying its body, for the third time. Rah. No. Just in time, the heroes busted through the door as well as All Might. The rest of villains started retreating. While they were busy I quickly destroyed the Nomu and I landed on the ground, stumbling a bit. My regenerating quirk kicked in and did its job. Izuku, are you okay? Kirishima. Yeah, I'm fine. Wait, where's Aizawa? Izuku. He's with the others, Todoroki. I then sighed and looked around. Those damn villains escaped. Izuku. Bakugou then walked up to me and grabbed me by my collar, glaring at me with tears in his eyes. Forget about those damn villains. Why did you disappear? Bakugou. Can we not do this here? Izuku. I then started having a headache, which meant I had to deal with my quirk drawback. I teleport out of his grip and see All Might walking towards me. All the heroes knew he is Shadow. So you finally revealed yourself, young Izuku, Beach Might. I had no choice, Izuku. Wait, you knew he was the vigilante Shadow? Kirishima. I'm gonna go to Dad if that's all, Izuku. I then shadow jumped to Dad to see him being taken away by the ambulance. Izuku, are you okay? Are you hurt? I'm fine, but is Dad okay? Izuku. I'm not sure, but we'll go visit tomorrow, Papa Mike. Izuku. Uraraka. I then turned to see the whole class running towards me. You never told us you were the vigilante. Am I supposed to? Izuku. No, but why choose to become a vigilante? Mina. Let's not talk about that, and it anyways isn't any of your business, Izuku. Don't tell me I have a fever now. From teleporting and using air. I then felt my forehead, and just like I thought, I have a fever, but it's not too bad. Izuku, come here, Shinso. I then sluggishly walked to him. He then felt my forehead and sighed. Why'd you have to overuse your quirk, Shinso? Do you still want that thing coming at us and crushing Dad? Izuku. No, but you could have just waited for the heroes to come and deal with it, Shinso. They wouldn't make it in time, and I'm just doing my job as a vigilante, Izuku. I then walk away out of the building and go to Papa. I'm gonna go rest in the bus while you guys are busy here, if it's okay with you, Izuku. Yeah, but before that, are you okay? Your face is red. Drawback, Izuku. Oh, okay then, go ahead, Papa. I shadow jumped into the bus and slept while they were busy. I opened my eyes to see myself in the infirmary room and snuggled by the cats. When did they get here? I then sat up, and just then, RG, recovery girl, came in. Hello, RG, Izuku. Oh, hello, you feeling better? Yep, Izuku. Papa then came in. Oh, you're awake, how are you feeling? A bit better. How long was I asleep? Izuku. An hour or two, classes just ended. Art. Oh, also, when did they get here? Izuku. I don't know, but you should get ready. We're about to leave. I just need to go get my stuff and I'll come back, Papa Mike. Okay, Izuku. He then left, and RG gave me some clothes and some gummies. Titch X RG, Izuku. She nodded, and I slowly got up out of bed and got changed. Papa came back. We got in the car with the cats and drove home. When we got there, I immediately went to my room and laid down, but I couldn't sleep. Another sleepless night. Ragdoll jumped onto my bed and sat by my head. What's wrong, Izuku? Dad is in the hospital. I feel like it's my fault and I can't fall asleep. Izuku. Don't worry about your dad, and it's not your fault. You did everything you could to save him. Thanks, Ragdoll. Izuku. I then started petting her, and seeing as I can't fall asleep, I waited for the clock to hit 10 and went on patrol. After dealing with a few crimes, my patrol ended and I went home, but just like earlier, I still couldn't sleep, so I just went onto my phone and looked at anything to keep me busy. Not much to see. Wait, earlier today the USJ was attacked and the vigilante Shadow was revealed to be a 15-year-old that goes to UA, named Izuku Midoriya, that was pronounced dead a year ago. Oh no, my identity is revealed. There must have been reporters at the front, F-. I was now panicking. Inko would definitely come for me. In front of that, now people will stat coming after me even out of patrol. I'm F-ed. After a few, I calmed down and laid down since my headache was getting worse and I still had a fever. After an hour, it was now 8 o'clock. I got dressed, went downstairs, cooked breakfast and called the others. When we finished, we drove to the hospital and visited Dad, while I also hid away from everyone. Izuku POV. As we drove to the hospital, I just looked out the window, not really caring on what will happen to me now. Shinso then suddenly put a hand on my shoulder and gave me a small smile which I returned. He must have noticed, or it's just the look I have on my face. After a few, we arrived and I pulled my hood over my head so people couldn't see me. We went inside and after registering, we headed to Dad's room. Do I even deserve to be here? I couldn't do much for Dad, and for all I know he could have died. It's all my fault, I was too weak. As I just blamed myself, we stood in front of the room Dad is in and I was beating myself on the inside. Papa turned towards me and Shinso. You guys want to go first? I turned to look at Shinso to see him looking at me. You go first, I'll come in a bit. Shinso. He smiled at me and so did I. I hesitantly went into Dad's room and when I looked at him, I nearly went back out but decided not to. After just staring at him, I walked over and sat in one of the chairs next to the bed and held his hand. I'm so sorry, you ended up here because I was too weak and slow to get to you, Izuku. I then felt tears in my eyes but I held them back. I sat there in silence before hearing the door open and in came Shinso and Papa. You okay, little listener? It's my fault he's here, Izuku. No, it's not, you couldn't have stopped this from happening, so stop blaming yourself, Dad wouldn't like that in you. No, Shinso. I chuckled and he gave me a hug which Papa joined into. It has been a week since the USJ, we were given a week off from school and it hasn't been that good for me. I refuse to leave my room but I'll only come out if we are going to visit Dad. I only go to see if he's awake yet. I haven't been eating right and barely got any sleep. Izuku, you need to eat and sleep. Shinso. I'm fine, Izuku. We were in my room. I was laying on my bed staring at the ceiling while Shinso was standing close to the bed. You sure about that, cause it doesn't look like it? Shinso. I just continued to stare at the ceiling and then Shinso hugged me and I returned it. When we backed away he looked at me in concern. Izuku, you really need to eat, I can barely feel your ribs. Shinso. Fine, I'll eat. Izuku. You can wait here, I'll get you something to eat. Shinso. He then left and I sat up. Papa was in his room at the moment and I'm guessing he's staring at a picture of him and Dad. He hasn't been that good as well but he's always trying to cheer me up which worked a few times. Shinso then came into the room with some katsudon. Papa made this for you, you already know why. Shinso. I giggled and took the food from Shinso. Tell Papa I say thanks. Izuku. Will do, now eat up before it gets cold. Shinso. I complied and ate my food, it wasn't like Dad's but it's still yummy. Shinso then left and I continued to eat. We have to go to UA tomorrow. I can't do anything about that but at least I have something to keep my mind off Dad. When I just finished eating, Papa came into my room looking like he would cry any second. What happened? Izuku. Shota's awake, get ready we're gonna go see him. Without another word he left and I got ready. He's finally awake. Feeling relieved and happy, I went down to see Papa and Shinso waiting for me at the door. We got in the car and on our way, Luna appeared and sat in my lap. What's she doing here? Shinso. Who's here? Luna, and I don't know why she's here. Izuku. Okay, we're here. Papa then parked the car and we headed inside. I was happy but nervous to see Dad. What if he hates me? What am I thinking? Of course he hates me, who wouldn't? It's my fault. You okay, Izuku? Shinso. Why yeah, I'm okay. Izuku. In no time we were now in front of Dad's room. Papa was the first to go in and me and Shin went after. When we came in, Dad was looking out the window looking bored. Shode. In the middle of saying his name Dad erased his quirk and was squeezed to death by Papa. Nice to see you too. Dadzawa. Glad to see you're awake. Shinso. Shinso smiled at Dad and gave him a hug and then turned to me which made Dad look at me. Hey Dad. Izuku. What happened to you? You look like you haven't eaten or slept in days. Dadzawa. 'Cause that is what happened. Shinso. I just looked away not able to look Dad in the eye. Come here. Dadzawa. I hesitantly walked over to Dad and once I was close enough, he hugged me. I wasn't expecting it so I wasn't prepared. I eventually broke down into tears while Dad rubbed circles on my back. I'm sorry you ended up here, it's my fault. I was too weak to get you out of the situation with the Nomu and because of that you got hurt. Izuku. There's nothing to be sorry about, it's not your fault, I went in and fought on my own will, you're just a kid so it is my duty to protect you. Dadzawa. After crying for a bit, I pulled away and sat in one of the chairs. Thanks for that. I really needed it. Izuku. No problem, kid, Dadzawa. We then talked for a bit and got informed that Dad can leave, so we went home along with Luna, who stayed in the car. Third person POV. It is now the day after Aizawa was discharged, which means it is time to go back to you. Sadly, but he still had bandages on, which made him look like a freaking mummy. Izuku and his family were now on their way to UA. Once they got there, Shinso went in before everyone. Izuku walked to gate talking with Aizawa since Hisashi went after Shinso. What they didn't know is that someone was waiting for them. Izuku POV. As me and Dad walked, I heard the voice of someone I knew too well. Izuku. I turned to see Inko running towards us. I froze in my tracks, which Dad noticed. Izuku, where Hashoda? Wait, how does she know Dad? What are you doing here, Inko? Dadzawa. They were now looking at each other with a look of anger. I'm here to get my son. Izuku, let's go home. I was trembling by now, and Dad put a hand on my shoulder to somehow calm me down. No idea how that works, seeing as he has bandages on his arms too. Your son? From what I know of, you didn't have any kids. Dadzawa. They know each other? Well, I did. Now let go of my son. She then used her quirk and tried to pull me towards her, only for Dadzawa to use his quirk on her. I need an explanation. Dadzawa. Like you'd care. You left me for what? A loud blonde. What in the hell is going on right now? So what if I did, me and you weren't doing good with our relationship? What did you expect? Dadzawa. That you'd at least try to fix it and support me. This is getting pretty heated. Where's my popcorn? Support you for what? You weren't having any problems with anything, so what is it? Dadzawa. Inko. Just then she hesitated and Dad turned back to me, leading me back to UA, but before we could take another step, Inko shouted. I was pregnant. We turned back to her and she looked even more angry. The day you left, I was gonna tell you about it, only for you to tell me we're over and leave me with this brat. Every day I had to look after him and get a reminder that he is your son. Chills ran down my back and I had the feeling of guilt. So it's my fault. I was to blame for the abuse. Do I even deserve to call Aizawa Dad anymore? It is your fault. In that brief moment I heard a voice. Must have been the wind. If he is a reminder of me, why are you trying to get him back? Dadzawa. That's none of your concern. Izuku, be a good boy and come here. She had said it with so much venom in her voice that I did a full body flinch. He's going nowhere, and unless you want to get arrested for quirk use and trespassing, I suggest you leave. Dadzawa. I'll get him back one way or another. Just like that, she left without another word. I side-glanced at Dad only to see him already looking at me, so I quickly looked away and continued walking. We should probably leave before we're late. Me. We walked in silence, and not the comfortable sort. It was as if just one drop of a pencil or basically anything could break it, but we continued just like that, not uttering a single word. Third person POV. Once they arrived to class, Izuku entered first. When Aizawa came in, however, everyone started throwing questions at him. Settle down, I have an announcement. Aizawa. Everyone quieted down and he continued. As all of you know, we had to face reality and face some dangerous people at the USJ. I know it hasn't been too long from that, but our war hasn't ended just yet. Aizawa. Everyone got chills from his statement until his face morphed into a sheet-eating grin. In the next 2 weeks we'll be having the sports festival and I expect to see you all training for it. Aizawa. Sighs of relief went around the class and they started having a few chats before being stopped by Aizawa and continuing with class. Izuku POV. I was now laying on my bed, staring at the ceiling with a voice that wouldn't leave me alone now that I have nothing to distract me. Just end yourself, you'd be doing everyone a favor. Like hell I'd do that. Besides, I have people who are relying on me. Who said they're relying on you? They'd be better off without you actually. I told myself that, now leave me alone you parasite. Says you. I just pushed the voice aside, got up and went downstairs to see Dad drinking coffee. Don't even bother him, you'd just be a nuisance. Even though I believed that, I talked to Dad, forgetting the voice. Hey Dad, do you think I can go on patrol with you tonight? He just sighed before saying, "Sure, be ready by 10 and don't blame me for what happens." Dadzawa. I ran back to my room and got ready. Once finished, I checked the time only to see there's about 20 minutes before we'll head on for patrol. I took my notebook out and started editing it with a few new things. After a bit, I went down to see Dad waiting on me and I quickly went to him and we headed out. Time skipped to next morning. Like any other morning, I got up, got dressed, ate breakfast and we left for UA. We trained and worked but I of course, wasn't giving my full potential and pissed Katsuki every time but me and Dad still weren't ready to talk to each other yet. Yeah, that's normal. You're the cause of it. Oh, you're back? Same day, end of day. Izuku POV. I hate having nothing to do. I mean I could continue training but I'm already sore and tired from Elia. Katsuki also chased me around for nearly an hour so yeah, no thanks. Look at you, you can't even continue training, how pathetic. Look at yourself, you're not even real. I stood up without another word and took my phone off the nightstand. Did I ever mention he has a phone? 'Cause I don't remember. When last was I on it? I don't know. I took the headphones Papa gave me and connected to my phone and listened to some music to get time going. Just then I felt a gaze burn my back. I chose to rather ignore it though. Checking the time, it was only past 9 p.m. Might as well tag along with Dad. Being lazy, I shadow leaped to the end of the stairs and continued from there. When I got to the living room, Dad was laying on the couch with his arm over his eyes. Hey Dad. Not giving Dad a chance to speak, I continued, if you are going on patrol, can I join? Dad took his arm off his eyes and looked towards me. We sat in silence for a minute before he answered, sure. With that he stood up and went to probably get ready. You really just woke him up to ask that? That's just selfish. He was awake and he anyways has to go patrol so, stop trying so hard to make me feel guilty. I headed to my room and changed into my suit. After that I went back to the living room and played with Kiki and Mimi. After waiting an hour, we headed out before telling Papa and Toshi. Once we came to our usual meetup spot, we looked for a bit and then went around our usual route in the area, separating here and there so people won't see us together, then we'd meet up after dealing with the problem and help each other where we could. Though, ever since we left, I've felt eyes on me the entire time, not once disappearing. I ignored it though, thinking it's not too important. I was currently sitting at the edge of a rooftop watching, while Dad is standing on the other edge but not as close as me. I looked towards him seeing as he's more quiet than normal so I questioned it, you good or raise your head? He gave me a side glance before turning back towards the city with a sigh, yeah, it's more quiet than usual, that's all. I only gave a hum as an understanding and we continued to patrol in a comfortable silence. Time skipped to after patrol. We were on our way home now, with me slurping a milkshake and Dad with his own. He bought me one as a reward for my good work and I accepted it with no complaint. More like reward for being a nuisance. I paid the comment no mind and kept walking with Dad by my side. After a bit of walking we got home to find Papa waiting in the living room. He smiled to us before greeting us. Welcome home, there's some food in the microwave if you're hungry. I just gave a nod before heading for my room with Luna following. Once I got there, I got clothes, showered, a cold one, and then got into bed and Luna came up to me and laid next to me with her head on my chest. I petted her while my head filled up with negative thoughts. What could they have been following me for? Are they targeting me? Probably are actually, but why though? I know it could be because I'm shadow and all but they would have made a move right? Or am I just overthinking the situation? With all the thoughts going on, I had a growing headache so I reluctantly got up to somehow get rid of the thoughts. You prob woke Luna up. I got out my phone and turned it on making myself go blind for a few SEC since it's pretty dark in here. After getting my eyesight back, I started to search random things until I scrolled upon a Princess All Might meme which caused me to nearly burst out laughing. I then got an idea and smirked as I looked for more memes just to annoy my sweet oil dad. Prepare to be traumatized, Dad. Time skipped to morning. Still Izuku. As I finished editing my notebook, I turned to the window only to see the sun peeking at me. Another night without sleep, not surprised. I then started getting ready for the day and it continued like normal, me getting to UA, ignoring Dad, pissing Katsuki and some other teachers, training, going home, doing homework, play with the cats, sneaking out to go on patrol and once again, feeling eyes on my back that never went away. Yeah, that's basically my schedule. Time skip 1 week. It is finally the day, the sports festival. You're probably thinking that everyone is nervous. Well, that is true, except Izuku isn't at all. He's actually pretty confident about it. Although, he is extremely tired since he couldn't get an ounce of sleep that night. He also patrolled, that is, which he doesn't exactly regret, but he get injured from fighting an entire gang. Other than that, he's good and ready for anything. When he got to UA, he slept for a good half an hour in the teacher's lounge after asking Aizawa if he could. Then he got woken up to get ready for the festival. Once he was done, he went to go meet the others that were actually already there waiting for him. After waiting a while, they were finally called to the stadium so that they could start the festival. Once they entered, everyone instantly got even more nervous by the amount of people there, but Izuku handled it like a pro. Midnight then called Izuku up to represent the students. With a calm inhale and exhale, he says, "Good morning everyone, not wanting to waste any time. Enjoy the show and good luck everyone also. Try not to go crying to your parents once I win." Once he's finished, everyone starts booing him, but he simply ignores everyone, giving a few glares here and there. Midnight then explained how the festival will work, and a wheel on a screen started spinning to determine what their first challenge would be. The wheel then showed that the first game would be an obstacle course race. Midnight then explained how it will work. All the students then got ready and stood by the starting point and got ready to start running. With a little wait, Midnight finally says, "Start," and with that everyone runs right into the tunnel, pushing and squeezing their way through. Izuku waited patiently and listened to what Present Mike was announcing, but when he heard that people were already passing the first obstacle, which was the Robo Infernos, he was slowly getting irritated by how long the people were taking to get through. He then quickly walked into the shade and shadow leaped to the end of the tunnel and started running. Once he was seen by the camera robot, Present Mike made a short announcement saying, "Look who finally showed up, Izuku Midoriya." Izuku then flashed the camera a quick smile before continuing on his run. He ran right through what was left of the Robo Infernos and continued to the next obstacle, that was the fall, and some people were crossing while others stood still at the edge, thinking of how to cross. Izuku simply grinned and ran right over the rope like it was nothing. As he ran across the rope, Mina and Uraraka and quickly ran past them. He then spotted a girl with pink hair using gadgets to get past the obstacle, and he then thought, "Those are some cool gadgets. I should know, Izuku, you need to focus. You can ask later." With that last thought, he teleported to the end of the fall and continued not too far away from Todoroki and Bakugou. Now we've arrived at the final barrier. Only thing is that it's a minefield. It is set up so you can see where it has been laid out if you look closely. They're not that powerful, but it is loud and flashy to make you wet your pants. Present Mike announced, seeing the one in the lead arriving. That depends on the person, however. Erase your head states after Mike's explanation. When Izuku got there, he took a quick stop and looked at the minefield and thought, for seat too easy, this should be a piece of cake for me. And with that he runs over the field, getting closer to Bakugou, who isn't too far from Todoroki. Once Bakugou spotted Izuku, he shot an explosion in his direction, but Izuku just sidestepped and continued on his run. "Stay out of my way, you damn nerd," Bakugou demanded as he shot another explosion at Izuku. Izuku was starting to get annoyed, so he simply ignored him and teleported to the end of the minefield so he could get this obstacle course over with. "Now we've got someone new in the lead," Mike announces as the camera switches over to Izuku. The crowd started cheering, hearing that someone else took the lead. All the other contestants started speeding up as well, and now Todoroki was using his ice to get over the field while Bakugou exploded his way through, trying to catch up to Izuku. Just as Bakugou approached Izuku, he tried to punch him, only for Izuku to dodge and only then go at full speed. "What is this?" Izuku Midoriya suddenly picked up his pace as if earlier he was running at his slowest. Mike says, surprised. As Izuku, Bakugou and Todoroki approached the studio, Izuku could feel the adrenaline pumping through him and went along with it, loving the feeling. While Izuku was in the lead, Bakugou and Todoroki were switching places. They were now running through the tunnel and everyone were at the edge of their seats to see the person that would place first. "In first place we have," Mike says, waiting on the edge of his seat, ready to announce the winner of the first challenge. Izuku then comes out of the tunnel, coming in as first. "Izuku Midoriya." Mike shouts as the crowd goes wild. Izuku smirks to himself as all the other contestants starts flooding into the stadium. Easy as pie, and I barely even use teleportation. Izuku thinks to himself as he goes to rest against the wall and rested his eyes while he waited for the contestants to come. Now that everyone is here, check to see if your name is on the chart. If not, you are disqualified and the rest may have a 15-minute break. Midnight says as everyone goes to check, but Izuku instead goes to the waiting room knowing he made it to the next challenge. Time skip to after break. All the participants that passed the challenge came out of the waiting rooms and waited for Midnight to tell them the next challenge. Now that everyone is here, let's see our next challenge. The wheel then span and stopped on Cavalry run. For this you have to have 4 people in a group, 2 people at the back and 1 in the front. All 3 of them will be carrying the 4th person that will be keeping all the points, and that person cannot touch the ground. Before we start, here are your points, with the person in first place having 1,000,000 points. After announcing that, everyone turned to look at Izuku, but he just gave them a look of boredom. I've gotten much more scarier looks than that I've grown used to, she thought. You have to collect as much of the team's bands, and if yours gets taken, don't worry, cause you will still be in. If the rider touches the ground, you and your team are disqualified. Now that that's over with, you have 15 minutes to select your team. With that, everyone avoided Izuku and started looking for people to recruit. This should be a piece of cake, I just have to get the right people on my team. Izuku thought as he sighed. Just then he felt a tap and turned to Uraraka. Mind if I join your team, Deku-kun? He gave her a small smile. Sure, Uraraka-san. He then looked around again before Uraraka spoke. How about we get Ayada-kun to join our team? He turned to face her again before shaking his head. No, he already joined Todoroki-kun's team, so he's off the list. He then looked around one more time. Uraraka-san, let's split up and look for 2 more teammates. He said, to which she nodded to, and he then headed off to a girl with pink hair and gadgets. Once he approached her, he went right to the point. Would you like to join my team? She turned to him before grinning. Sure, you'd be a lot of help to advertise my babies. The name's Mei Hatsum, she announced as she violently shook his hand. Izuku Midoriya, now that we got that out of the way, just follow me. With that he started looking for Uraraka and spotted her at the spot they split up. 5 minutes left, everyone. Midnight announced. Deku-kun, I got us another teammate, she said, pointing towards Tokoyami. Nice to have you, Tokoyami. He just nodded before Izuku explained the plan. Time's up, everyone in formation. Midnight announced, and so everyone got ready. Uraraka and Mei are in the back, Tokoyami in the front, and Izuku being carried by them. Ready? Start. With that, everyone ran straight towards Izuku's team. Uraraka, Mei now. Hearing the signal, Uraraka used her quirk on them and Mei activated the gadget that she recommended for them to use. They then flew out of the death ring. Look at them, flying out of the literal death ring they were surrounded by just seconds ago. Present Mike commented. Only a few people confronted them while others gave up. 10 minutes left, everyone. Midnight announced. Izuku turned to see Todoroki's group heading towards them but ignored them and continued to warn his team of the other teams. Izuku quickly glanced behind to see Todoroki not too far from them. Hold on, everyone, you might feel nauseous after this, Izuku warned before teleporting to the other side of the arena and apologizing to his team. What a quick escape Izuku Aizawa made. What are you teaching your students, Aizawa? They are dealing with this like pros. Present Mike questioned. I taught them nothing to do with tis, they just know to not waste time and stand around or hesitate, Aizawa responded in a monotone voice. Out of nowhere, Katsuki came blasting towards Izuku, and just before he could snatch the headband off Izuku's head, Dark Shadow covered him and Izuku quickly teleported. Somewhere else, seeing Dark Shadow struggling, Are you okay, master? Dark Shadow frantically asked. Izuku only looked at him confused. What do you mean by master? Izuku questioned. I can feel your power of the darkness and it's much more powerful than I am, so it's only right for me to call you master and you can't change that. Izuku just petted him, making him lean into Izuku's hand as he smiled softly. If that's what you want, sure. Time's up. Hand in your headbands and wait to see if you will be going to the next challenge. Midnight said, and everyone started handing in their bands before they waited by the stage to get the results. Izuku though, he just sat against the wall while he fought with the voice in his head that he thought was gone. After a bit, Midnight announced that they now have everyone's results. Everybody was fighting to get to the front to get a better look while Izuku stayed where he was and looked at the board of names by taking long to find his name on the board. You got in by pure luck, you dumb, useless, defenseless, weak boy. The voice announced and started going on, calling Izuku names, but Izuku merely ignored the name calling and got up to go get something to eat, ignoring Midnight's booming voice through the speakers. If your name is not on the board, you are disqualified. Those going to the next challenge, you have a 30-minute break. All learners may play a mini-game before the challenge starts, or you can rest and reserve your energy. Midnight announces. Izuku was already eating an energy bar he had secretly teleported to himself as he headed to the waiting room. Izuku had taken a glance at the TV to see that he was the first to battle, and it was with his purple-haired brother. This would be an easy battle, so he wouldn't exactly need to rest, but he decided to do just that since he wanted to sleep. After the break, Izuku headed out of the room. He couldn't sleep sadly, and to the arena. Should I use all my quirks or just rely on one? I'ma use them all when the right battle comes. For now, I'll just use teleportation, Izuku thought as he got to the arena and stood face to face with Hitoshi. We have our winner of the previous challenges, Izuku Midoriya, fighting against Hitoshi Shinso. They kept their family name in order to not get targeted by any villains. A sleepy-looking guy, OW. Hizashi announced getting a hit from Aizawa because of his comment. Rules are: you are disqualified if you are unable to move, give up, or go out of bounds. Ready? Start. Midnight announced. Hitoshi then dashed towards Izuku and went for a right hook, but Izuku dodged with ease and continued to do so as Hitoshi kept throwing kicks and punches at him, not getting a bit on Izuku. Look at that, he ain't getting a single hit on him. Hizashi announces getting yet another hit from Aizawa. Seeing that Hitoshi was getting tired, he decided to just finish the battle and teleport Hitoshi out of bounds, easily winning the battle. Izuku Midoriya wins the battle with ease. Hizashi announces. Izuku heads out the arena and to the area his classmates are watching the battles. Uraraka approaches him, but he just ignores her and sits down at the back, ignoring everyone who talks to him. Bro went from being nice to just ignoring everyone. Time skip a few battles. It was now time to fight against Shoto, and Izuku wasn't excited. He had nearly fallen asleep, finally, but was woken up by someone shaking him to tell him he was next. He was angrily walking to the fighting arena, and on his way he found Endeavor heading his direction, but Izuku decided to ignore him and just walk past him, but Endeavor had other plans. Villain. Endeavor called, not looking back. Izuku stopped at being called but didn't turn around. You better give your all during your battle with Shoto. He would have no choice to use his fire that way. Endeavor commanded, which only made Izuku even more mad than he already was. Before you go, Izuku said, making Endeavor turn to him before he could even walk away. Izuku turned his head and looked at Endeavor coldly straight into his eyes. Todoroki isn't some puppet you can use for your desires and goals. He isn't you and will never be you. Even if I do get him to use his fire, just remember, it was for him and not for you. Izuku continued before continuing towards the fighting arena, not looking back. Izuku finally made it to the arena and got ready. He already knew Todoroki wasn't gonna use his full power, so Izuku was gonna kinda use that against him as well as when he lets loose and use his full power. Now fighting is Izuku Midoriya and Shoto Todoroki. Hizashi announced over all the cheering of the crowd. Now that you're both here, we can start. Ready? Start. Midnight shouted. Ice was then shot towards Izuku, but he simply teleported out of the way and ran towards Todoroki. Come on. Use your fire, Todoroki. It would be unfair for me to use my full power and for you to not. Izuku stated as he used his air ability to melt the ice coming his way. Did my old man bribe you to say this? Todoroki asks, glaring in Endeavor's direction. That doesn't matter. What does is that you could unknowingly be hurting yourself by using half of your potential and power. So, do me a favor and use your fire. Izuku yelled as he was getting closer. I will never be like my father and use his quirk. Todoroki confirms, sending more spikes of ice that Izuku easily avoided and destroyed. Are you stupid or something? Why don't you get it? It's your quirk. The old man's quirk is hell flame or whatever it's called, and yours is half cold half hot. So use your damn fire, you idiot. Izuku shouts before punching Todoroki, and memories flash through his mind before he gets to his feet and his fire bursts out, burning his clothes. Shitu. Endeavor shouts happy, don't know how else to describe it. Izuku smirks at this and gets away from the hot fire. Yeah, but I think the fire is cute, not hot. Thank you, Izuku, for opening my eyes. Todoroki says. You're welcome, now enough with the chit-chat and let's get this over with. Izuku says, getting ready. Todoroki then lifts his left hand and shoots his scorching fire towards Izuku, who uses error and turns the fire to ash before teleporting behind Todoroki and hitting a pressure point which makes him pass out, and Izuku quickly catches him. Izuku Midoriya wins. Midnight announces as the crowd goes wild. The medical robots, that's what I'm calling them, then took Todoroki away, and Izuku went to his classmates and sat down before getting surrounded by everyone, except Katsuki, of course, equals, smiley face, and having them give all kinds of compliments. I'm too tired for this, is all Izuku could think of. As the battles went on, Izuku was spacing out as the voice was degrading him, but he just pushed it aside. There were a few battles that passed already and he's just waiting for his turn. Izuku! Uraraka shouted, getting his attention. It's your turn, you're going against Bakugou. Uraraka shouted, getting into Izuku's face. He just nodded and left, hearing a couple good luck before disappearing. This might be a bit more difficult than the fight with Todoroki, but there shouldn't be a problem. Izuku thought to himself as he exited the tunnel and stood opposite Katsuki, who had a huge-ass smirk on his face. Izuku Midoriya versus Katsuki Bakugou. Both from Class 1. Who will win this year? Let's find out. Present Mike announced. Okay, you already know what to do. Ready? Fight. Midnight shouted. You better fight me with all you got, nerd. Katsuki shouted, blasting over to Izuku. That'll be exposing myself, so sorry, that ain't gonna happen. Izuku thought, standing still. Once close, Katsuki threw a punch at him, only to punch air. He quickly looked around to find no one and then found Izuku coming from above. He quickly dodged before getting kicked in the stomach. He quickly recovered and shot a couple explosions at Izuku, only to have them turn into smoke that was now surrounding them, making it hard for Katsuki to find Izuku. Izuku, however, found it easy, having already been in this situation on his patrols. Izuku jumped from one place to another, landing hots on Katsuki. Getting annoyed, Katsuki sent a much more powerful explosion than the previous ones. Once the smoke cleared, he looked for Izuku and found him standing unharmed by the explosion. Izuku was getting even more tired than earlier, but he kept pushing, not wanting to lose. I can just use the shadows, collect a few rocks that are on the ground and throw it towards Katsuki, then while he's distracted I can kick him out of bounds since he is already close to the line. Izuku planned and got ready. As planned, he used the shadows as slingshots and got a whole lot of rocks, then threw them towards Katsuki. Katsuki used his quirk and blew up the rocks. While he was distracted, Izuku ran closer and punched Katsuki in the face before kicking him once again in the stomach so hard he hit the wall and created a crater. Izuku Midoriya wins the festival. Present Mike yelled as the crowd started cheering. Izuku simply went to the tunnel and teleported his water bottle to himself and drank. They were now giving out the medals, and Izuku stood as first, Katsuki as second, and Tokoyami as third. Izuku wasn't listening to anything that was said until he heard the arrival of All Might. I am here. All Might bellowed, coming towards the three. All Might Tokoyami's medal first, then Katsuki, and then came over to Izuku. Congrats on winning, young Izuku. All Might congratulated as Izuku merely lowered his head and was given his medal. Today is going damn slow, Izuku thought tiredly. Once the festival was over, Izuku went over to his father and told him he'll be at home and proceeded to teleport to his room, shower, change into comfortable clothes and fall to his bed, and he was out like a light. It was now time for Izuku's patrol and he wasn't exactly up for it but got ready nonetheless. Once ready, he shadow jumped into a shadow away from the house and started to follow his patrol route. After about 30 minutes, he stopped and sat at the edge of a 14-floor building to chill for a bit and hummed a random tune. He had already stopped a few crimes here and there, but other than that, it was quiet. Izuku or Shadow enjoyed moments like this, a quiet night with a cloudless sky full of stars. It always reminded him of the times he had with his mother just staring at the sky and talking about random stuff. That was before he was diagnosed as quirkless. It was still nice to remember those moments though. You good, Shadow? Erasure asked, landing next to his son. Shadow gave a nod, not looking away from the sky. I used to do this with Mom, Shadow said, trailing off at the end. Erasure only looked at him confused, silently asking him to continue. We used to look at the stars and talk about random things. We shared secrets and she would tell me stories about the love of her life. Then when I thought nothing could ruin our relationship, everything came crashing down. Shadow finished with a sad chuckle. Erasure only came closer and hugged him. They stayed like that for a bit before deciding to continue their patrol together. Izuku was now walking towards the teacher's lounge to chill before going to class. He looked calm, but he was getting pissed at the voice that was literally screaming at him. Once he got there, he entered and laid on the couch. There was surprisingly no one. Considering it was early, he thought he'd see some teachers chilling here before it was time for classes, but he guessed they were too busy to rest. Not even a minute later, he's already fast asleep. Aizawa came into the room a few minutes later to tell Izuku he'd have to stay after school hours, but quickly stopped himself once he saw Izuku asleep. He then got a blanket that was sitting on the couch opposite from Izuku and gently laid it onto Izuku before quietly exiting the room to continue with his grading. Aizawa had been watching Izuku closely, seeing that his son was much more quiet, tired and lost in thought much more often. He started getting worried. Izuku may have warmed up to them, but he never opened up or shared anything about his past, and Aizawa was trying his hardest. But only time will tell when Izuku will open up and reveal his past and secrets or not. Means time skip. It has been a few days since the sports festival and people are already recognizing Class 1A wherever they go. Class 1A is currently in their class chatting about how they are now recognized by people until Aizawa enters the class and they head to the desks and sit quietly after greeting. Today we are going to be picking your code names, or as you'd say, your hero names, Aizawa explained. The class burst into chatter only to shut their mouths once Aizawa activated his quirk, silencing them. Fortunately, I won't be determining your names, but Aizawa was then cut off by Midnight entering the classroom. I will be in Aizawa's place for your name picking, Midnight declared, finishing Aizawa's sentence. I will be asleep, wake me up once you are all done, and only wake me up if someone's about to die, Aizawa said before entering his sleeping bag and going to sleep on the floor in a corner of the room. Well, now that that's out of the way, pass these boards to the people behind you and write your chosen name. Once you got it, come to the front and represent it, Midnight explained excitedly to the nervous students in front of her. Izuku wasn't quite sure what he wanted his hero name to be. He had a few ideas in mind but wasn't sure if they'd be good. He then finally picked one and write it down on his board before standing and going in front of the class and showing his board. Underground Hero, Nozomi, Izuku read, to which Midnight gave a head pat. You sure you want to be an underground hero? You would have all the attention if you were a limelight hero instead, Midnight questioned curiously. I'm sure. I'm not a fan of attention and I'd rather stay unknown to most people than st and out, Izuku explained briefly, rubbing his eyes from sleep. Well, nice pick, Nozomi, as in hope I see. Great choice, Midnight praised before Izuku headed to his seat and placed his head on his arms and rested. Once the others were all finished with their choices, same as anime, they woke Aizawa up and Midnight left to her next class. Now, you are all assigned to pick a hero agency from your options to intern at. Remember, you still have to prove yourself to us pros, so no slacking off, got it? Aizawa asked, getting a yes from everyone. He then proceeded to project the amount of people they were asked to intern at, with Izuku's being the highest. Those who are on the board will pick from their offers and the others will be handed a sheet of paper to pick from. Each agency has different specialties they focus on, so keep that in mind. You'll be interning for an entire week. Class dismissed, Aizawa said, finished with the topic. Out of all of Izuku's offers, he thought it would be better to go with Aizawa, since he was an underground hero and because he is his father. So, after class, Izuku went up to his dad and talked about joining his agency and gave a few reasons. Luckily for Izuku, Aizawa agreed and stamped Izuku's page, making Izuku his intern. The rest of the day passed by quickly and they headed home. Izuku, like any other night, couldn't sleep, so he scrolled mindlessly on his phone and played with the cats that all laid on his bed. The rest of the week passed slowly but quickly, and it was now Monday, the day they split up and go to the agency of their choice. Izuku had no problem from being separated, but he was happy he could get away from their all-too-happy vibes. He was currently walking with Aizawa towards his agency. It wasn't long before they stood in front of the agency. It wasn't big, but it was cozy and functional, which was all that really mattered. Aizawa showed him around and introduced him to the few people in the building before having their night patrol and having Izuku learn a few things from Aizawa. They kept this up and had a few sparring lessons, and Izuku learned new moves and found out a couple of things he could do with his quirk. He improved a lot during his time of interning with Aizawa. The days were moving faster than Izuku liked, and it was already Friday. Aizawa had decided to patrol at Hosu for their last day, and so they were currently on the train towards their destination. Izuku was looking out the window when he spotted something flying towards them. He quickly used shadow manipulation and got the people out of the way, and he successfully got them away when the thing crashed into the train and did a loud-ass screech. Upon the thing's, identified as a Nomu, impact, the train stopped, which gave Aizawa and Izuku the ability to walk without stumbling over. They were about to charge at the Nomu but were stopped by someone else charging at it, and Izuku recognized him but said nothing and instructed the passengers in the train before heading out after Aizawa. They spotted a fire happening in the distance and were about to head towards it, but Izuku decided it was quicker to teleport instead, and so he did. Upon coming into the hot area, they spotted more of the Nomus causing chaos and other heroes putting the fire out and keeping the Nomus from attacking civilians. "You have permission to fight when needed," Aizawa shouted as he dashed to an injured civilian. Almost immediately Izuku attacked a Nomu and cut the Nomu in half using shadow until he noticed Manuel. Ida's supposed to be his intern, but I don't see him anywhere. He headed for? Upon realization, Izuku headed towards the alleyways and searched for any signs of Ida but found nothing until he spotted him. Hero Ender, Stain. Izuku quickly teleported in front of Stain and kicked his katana out of his hand. Stain jumped back and looked at the newcomer. "Another fake, you are wasting my time," Stain nonchalantly says. He then dashed towards the katana. Izuku went to kick him in the side only to get dodged. Izuku teleported a distance away from Stain, who got his katana from the ground. "I would have spared you another day, but I guess not. Get ready to die," Stain declared as he ran towards Izuku. Izuku only smirked from under his mask. Izuku teleported Ida and the other hero, forgot his name, out of the alleyway and dodged the katana before going to kick Stain's legs from under him. He successfully got it done only to get slashed across his leg. "That's a big gash," Izuku thought, teleporting a distance away. "It's game over for you, hero," Stain says as he's about to lick the blood off, but before he does, it suddenly disappears. He looks to Izuku's outstretched arm and immediately knew it was him. "What did you do?" Stain yells, clearly upset. Izuku doesn't answer and teleports in front of him, ready to punch him in the face, but gets cut across his face as Stain dodges and runs past Izuku. Izuku once again uses error to make the other katana disappear. "No weapons, we're equal." Izuku grits out through the pain, but he still smirks. "It doesn't matter if we're equal. There'll only be one standing in the end," Stain states as he jumps onto the wall and goes towards Izuku and tries to lick the cut his nose, but Izuku quickly teleports behind him but gets kicked in the stomach, sending him back. "Well, I'm pretty stubborn, so I don't think that will happen anytime soon," Izuku says, getting his footing back. He looks behind Stain to see Ida getting ready to come at him. Izuku takes his phone out from behind him and sends his location to Todoroki before putting his phone back where it was. "You know, I would love to have a conversation, but I don't think that will happen now," Izuku states, taking his mask off to show his smirk, knowing people would already recognize him anyway. "I probably won't ever have one, actually, considering how dangerous you are. Also, you might want to look behind you," he warns, pointing behind Stain. "I'm not falling for that trick." Stain gets interrupted by Ida kicking him on the head and into a wall. "Nice one. That's what you get, a hole," Izuku exclaims, laughing his ass off. ignoring the pain from his injuries. Stain then stands up stumbling over his feet and glares at Izuku. He takes his knife out and jumps at them. He goes to stab Ida but then fire comes out of nowhere and blocks him from getting to the two. Todoroki, good to see you could join, Izuku says looking in his direction with a smile. Nothing in this situation is good, you two shouldn't even be here, this is supposed to my fight. Ida scolds the two. You should be thanking me, you would be dead right now and we're helping you. Let me be my sarcastic self, there's no reason to dash. Izuku is interrupted when a knife is thrown into his torso and Todoroki's arm. You could have at least let me finish what I was saying first, Beach? Izuku yells, handling his injuries like a champ. Izuku, this is a battle, why would he let you talk? Todoroki questions, serious, holding his arm that has the knife. He could at least be nice? Izuku shouts before running across the side of the wall to the top. Todoroki shoots his ice at Stain, who is running towards them. Izuku uses the shadows and holds him in place, but he doesn't stop trying to get loose. Todoroki, use your ice on my engine. Ida commands and Todoroki does as told. Ida then charges up his engines and dashes to Stain and kicks him on the head, harder than last time, and Stain falls unconscious. Prob the worst fight scene you've read, answer truthfully. Izuku gets down from where he was and goes to the others. Well, that was fun. Izuku says like they could not have died from that. Let's get going and take him to the pros. We should get our wounds checked. Todoroki says, already walking away with Ida, who is using him as support. I'm fine, it's Ida who should be checked. Izuku lies as he uses the shadows and drags Stain along. They get out the alley to see the hero from earlier. Are you three okay? He asks worriedly. You should be worried about this guy, my dude. Izuku states as he lifts Stain up to show him. You caught Stain? The hero questions, surprised. Other heroes arrive to the scene and stop by the 4 injured people. You guys just hang on, medics are on the way. A female hero says calmly. Is that Stain? Another hero asks as Izuku puts him down in front of Endeavor to show. It sure is. Izuku answers, leaning on a pole for support. Eraserhead then comes out of nowhere and heads to Izuku. Are you okay? Yes. As you can see, from the knife in my torso, I'm clearly not okay, but thanks for asking. Izuku deadpans with a bit too much enthusiasm than needed. Aizawa then pulls Izuku into a hug and Izuku just stands there before getting let go. All of a sudden, a winged Nomu swoops down and takes Izuku. The Nomu had grabbed onto his torso, making the knife go even deeper. Izuku was about to fight back with the shadows but stopped when he saw Stain coming his way. Stain then stabbed the Nomu right in the brain, instantly ending it. They then fell to the ground, but Izuku quickly teleported to the ground in order to not get hurt while Stain landed on top of the Nomu. He had a speech of how he thinks Izuku and All Might are the only true heroes and then stood stiff while the pros were frozen in their spots from fear. The medics and police then finally arrived and took Stain away, while the 3 Hero Corps students were taken to the hospital with 1 losing blood fast. We left off with the 3 being taken to the hospital. It is now the next day and Izuku just woke up. Izuku wakes up feeling sore all over. He doesn't open his eyes, he just lays there. He listens into his surroundings, hearing the machine next to him and talking from out of his room. The door opens after a while. 3 people enter the room and sit at each side of him before chatting again. He wasn't paying much attention to the conversation and just laid there too tired to do anything. After a minute or two, he decided to let the 3 people in the room, identified as Hisashi, Aizawa and Hitoshi, know he was awake, so he opened his eyes, seeing the light was dim. Upon the 3 finding out he was awake, Hisashi went to get a nurse while Aizawa and Hitoshi stayed with Izuku. How are you feeling? Aizawa asked. He had his normal monotone, but he had a glint of concern in his eyes. Sore? Izuku responded, his voice hoarse. He tried to sit up only for Aizawa to hold him down. Don't move too much, you'd reopen your sticks? Aizawa told. Just then Hisashi and a nurse entered the room and he had a checkup. Afterwards the family was told he was okay and that he would be released in 2 days, depending on how fast he recovers. The nurse then left and the family sat in silence. Why are you all so quiet? Izuku asked, not knowing what else to say. What were you thinking? You could have gotten yourself ended, you know? Hitoshi says. I know, but Ida would have gotten ended if it weren't for me, Izuku stated. Aizawa gave Izuku a glare, but he wasn't too scared, already used to it. Also, I have a regeneration quirk. I'm already healed if I'm not wrong, Izuku stated with an eye roll. I totally did not forget about it equals, smiley face. I don't remember you telling us about it? Hisashi questioned, trying to remember if he did tell them. That's because I didn't, I even forgot I had it. It's been slow since I never really used it much, Izuku explained. There was a tense silent moment until Izuku thought he'd break it. Can we forget about that and talk about something? Izuku asked boredly. Like what? Hitoshi asked. Anything really, as long as it's not me getting scolded, Izuku said, not wanting to deal with getting a scolding. How was it meeting Stain? Hitoshi questioned. Hitoshi? Both Hisashi and Aizawa shouted. What? He said anything? Hitoshi said. It wasn't as scary, probably was for Ida, but meh, Izuku stated. From there on, they talked about anything that came to mind, as it was boring to lay there all day. At some point Izuku fell asleep, and when he woke up it was already the next morning. No one else but him was in the room. My wounds should be healed by now. I'm just gonna leave so I don't have to stay here much longer. I'll deal with Dad, Papa, and Hitoshi later, Izuku thought, getting out of bed. He then searched the cupboards and found his hero suit. He then put it on, folded the towel the hospital had give him, and made up the bed, setting the clothes on it when he finished. He opened the window and activated shadow manipulation, made a pair of wings and jumped out the window, going into a free fall before opening the wings and heading home. Aizawa was currently walking to his class. Hisashi had gone his separate way to his own class, and Hitoshi went ahead of both of them. Aizawa couldn't care less about teaching classes. All he wanted to do was see if his problem child was okay or not, even though Hisashi had told him multiple times that Izuku was alright. He arrives at his class, hearing them chat loudly, but quickly shut their mouths and head to their seats once they see Aizawa enter the class. Morning, sensei, they grate as he shuffles to the podium in front of the class. Morning, class. As you can see, Izuku is absent today, Aizawa says, but gets stopped before he could continue. Is he okay? Denki interrupts, getting a glare that sent shivers down his spine from Aizawa. If you let me finish, then maybe you'll find out, Aizawa said, glaring a bit longer before looking away. He had gotten injured from the events that happened last night along with Ida and Todoroki, but they're okay, as you can see. They'll just need some rest. Now on to Dash. Before he could finish, his phone started ringing, so he reluctantly took out his phone and answered. Hello, this is Shota Aizawa. Who is this? He said into the phone. Hello, this is hospital. We're calling to tell you that, They answered, trailing off. What? Did something happen to Izuku? Aizawa asked with concern laced in his tone. No, your son is missing, they said after a pause. What do you mean he's missing? Aizawa questioned angrily, alarming the class, especially Hitoshi. The nurses went to give him breakfast, but when they went into the room, they found the bed made up, his suit was gone, and the window was open. We're looking everywhere around the hospital. Aizawa rubbed his temples before answering. Okay, call me if you found anything. Before he could finish, they opened up and Izuku stood there with his blood-covered hero suit. Never mind, I found him. You don't have to worry anymore. I'll deal with him, Aizawa said, ending the call before they could say anything else. Izuku, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be in the hospital, Aizawa stated angrily, glaring at Izuku. I told you I'm healed. There was no reason to stay in the hospital, Izuku stated, giving his own glare. Aizawa only sighed. Fine, take a seat. Go get yourself a uniform from Nizu during break, Aizawa said, calming himself down. Izuku headed to his desk after giving Hitoshi a reassuring smile. From their classes continued. Izuku is currently waiting in the classroom of Class 1A with the others. There was only a half an hour left before class would start, but for Izuku it felt like forever. After some time, the bell went off and Aizawa entered to see everyone seated and quiet. Good morning, class, Aizawa greeted. Good morning, sensei, they greeted back. Let's get on with class then, he said, starting the lesson. The class was now waiting for their next period teacher to come, and in the meantime they were talking to each other, except for Izuku and a few others. What's taking them so long? I could be sleeping right now, but instead, here I am waiting for a certain someone, Izuku thought, annoyed. As if they heard Izuku, that certain person finally showed up, with an unnecessary entrance, might I say. I am here. Coming through the door like a normal person. All Might exclaims. All Might, everyone. Except Izuku and a few, exclaims. For this lesson, you will be doing rescue training. Get suited up and meet me outside. All Might pushes the button on a remote and out came their suits. They all grabbed their suitcases and left to change. Izuku, though teleported to the changing rooms, quickly got dressed and the others entered. Izuku was gonna go ahead and leave, but Kirishima blocked him, starting a conversation. Midobro. You must be excited seeing how you got dressed so quick. Mind waiting for us? Kirishima asked. Izuku just stared at him for a few seconds, making Kirishima nervous, but after a minute or so Izuku pushed through and left without another thought, hearing Ida shouting, but Izuku just ignored him. Izuku teleported to the observation room to see All Might and just sat down, ignoring the way All Might was starting at him. I think he forgot that it's rude to stare. I don't care though, he can't do nothing to me even if he wanted to. Izuku was getting tired to the point his eyelids felt heavy, but before he could drift off to sleep, as much as he'd love to, the rest of the class finally arrived, chatting quite loud too, and that woke Izuku up. He stood up and rubbed his eyes, focusing on the lesson. So as I said, you'll all be doing rescue training. The way this goes is you'll be divided into groups and you'll race everyone in your group. You have to locate the civilian, which in this case will be me, and get to me first in order to win. Everyone understand? All Might asked, finishing his explanation and getting nods from everyone. Okay, so our first group will be Tenya Ida, Mashireo Ojiro, Mina Ashida, Hantasiro, and Izuku Aizawa. All Might told. He then told the others to stay and watch. They are in the observant room, led the first group to the starting point and went to his spot, also known as the finishing line. Ready? Go! All Might announced through an earpiece connected to speakers. Izuku immediately jumped and ran across the pillars and bars, leaving the others in his dust before they as well started to run. Izuku searched and listened carefully. He also noticed Zero catching up, but Izuku only teleported further away, trying to keep distance between them. The others were behind but not too far away, but Zero was the closest to Izuku out of them all. Out of the corner of Izuku's eye, he saw All Might and immediately changed directions towards him, and Zero followed, seeing All Might as well. It was a race between Izuku and Zero. Izuku made sure to not slip, but still going at full speed. They were now nearly over the finishing line, and it looked like Zero was gonna win. Just before Zero could take first place, Izuku used glitch and got to the finishing line, winning first place. Izuku Aizawa wins. All Might roared. The others then came back after some time. They went back to the observation room and some of them went up to all of them to congratulate them and whatnot. Izuku though stood at a corner of the room not wanting attention. The others then had their turn in the rescue race and the period finally ended and Izuku happily teleported away. It was now time for the final exams. The class had used their last week to study hard and Izuku wasn't too worried. He had gone over everything they had done so far till now. Denki though was the complete opposite of Izuku. The others were trying their hardest to make him feel better, but some ended up hurting his feelings. During lunch, Izuku's classmates were chatting about the exams and what it could possibly be. Aizawa hadn't told them much, but the fact that it had to do with everything they had done during the first semester, including combat and rescue training. Kendo had told them that an upperclassman told her that they'll be fighting the villain bots again. Hanta, Mashiroa, Kyoka, Denki and Mina study with Momo. Katsuki beats the lessons into Ijiro's head. Izuku, Ochako Tenya and the others study in their own way. Class 1A took the written exam for 3 days in their homeroom class and everyone thankfully managed to pass. Nizu and the faculty host a meeting on changing the finals format. They incorporate teamwork and combat against actual people. Past tests used villain bots to avoid injury complaints. The teachers decide to change the tests to better prepare the students for more intense battles with villains. Class 1A are currently standing in their suits waiting for Aizawa to arrive and explain what they have to do for the practical portion. After some more waiting and Izuku nearly falling asleep, Aizawa finally arrived with the other pros following behind. Thankfully All Might was not present, but Izuku already knew he'd pop out at one point. There was a change of plans. Instead of you all fighting against robots like at the entrance exam, you'll be fighting us pros. Aizawa explained. The students, except for Izuku and a few, looked at them like they were insane. In no time the class started shouting and being dramatic, but Izuku wasn't listening. He was instead looking at his surroundings. I could escape any time I want and come here to hide for a bit. This place is perfect. Izuku thought, hitting his smirk. I don't know how though. We won't be holding back, but we do have these. Aizawa lifts up a pair of cuffs to hold us back to make it easier for you. Remember, you have two options, either defeat your opponent or escape while you can, and the catch is we won't be giving you the location of the escape route. The students let out a bit of a relieved sigh knowing they could escape if needed. Also, this determines if you go on the training camp, so give it your all and go. All the students and pros got ready to say it, plus Ultra. They roared. They were all told who their partner was, and Izuku was not happy with who he ended up with at all. Now that you are in your groups, you'll now be told who you are put up against. He then went on to tell them who they'll be fighting, and Izuku and Katsuki were named last. Bakugou and Izuku will be fighting Dash. Before Aizawa could finish, a gust of wind came out of nowhere and All Might appeared in front of them. All Might shouted, completing Aizawa's statement. Chattering from the rest of the class started as they weren't expecting this, since Katsuki and Izuku are both not as strong as All Might. Okay, first team will be up. Remember to go beyond. They all got ready once again, plus Ultra. All the teams except Katsuki and Izuku had gone, and the two were currently getting ready. Izuku had already tried to form a plan with Katsuki, but he had stomped off the minute Izuku came into view, so Izuku gave up. Ready? Go! They started walking around, but none of them said a word. After a while, Izuku sensed something coming right for them and fast, so he quickly teleported them both into an alleyway and watched for anything out of the ordinary. In no time, he saw a blast of air and it destroyed some of the items in its path as it passed by. After the blast disappeared, All Might appeared and Izuku went to tell Katsuki an idea, but when he turned to him he was not there. Die! Katsuki yelled, sending an explosion at All Might from above. Katsuki landed on the ground and waited for the smoke to clear, only to get grabbed by the face and kneed in the stomach. He was sent back and he struggled to get up. Izuku decided to come out and surprise All Might. He teleported behind All Might and used Shadow to hold him in place, and as All Might struggled in his hold, Izuku didn't budge one bit and went in front of All Might. Let's get this over with. Izuku mumbled as he activated Nightmare and looked All Might in the eyes. Luckily for Izuku, All Might made eye contact with Izuku and therefore he was about to experience his worst fear/nightmare. He started to struggle even more than before and scream. He was shouting stuff like, "Stop, please," and "No," but Izuku only ignored him and looked over at Katsuki to see him staring at Izuku in disbelief. "Why are you staring at me like that?" Izuku asked as he walked over to Katsuki. "You're just gonna ignore what's happening to All Might? What did you even do to him?" Katsuki questioned angrily as he grabbed Izuku's collar after he stood up. Izuku only looked at him and sighed. "What's the use of telling you what I did when I can use it to my advantage?" Izuku looked at him as he gave Katsuki a smug smile. "Anyways, I'm gonna tie him up in the capture tape and I'll end his suffering since he's starting to get annoying now." Izuku then teleported out of Katsuki's hold and in front of All Might and quickly tied him up, ending the battle. Izuku and Bakugou wins. Mike announces and Izuku deactivates Nightmare and his nose starts bleeding, but he ignores it and walks to the observation room, leaving Katsuki behind. So the ones who failed were already told that they are coming, and 1A is currently on their way to camp, and Izuku was sadly sitting next to Katsuki, but Hitoshi was on the other side, so it wasn't too bad. I'm being sarcastic, skull. Toshi, Izuku decided to ignore Katsuki as he grumbled about sitting next to him. "I'm gonna take a nap. Is it okay if I lay on your shoulder?" Hitoshi gave no reply and put Izuku's head on his shoulder, a way of saying yes. But just before he could drift off to sleep, Luna appeared and rested on his lap. "Luna, what are you doing here?" Izuku petted the cat and Luna started purring like crazy. "Dadzawa, Luna's coming with us." Izuku only got a "Are you serious?" look as he peeked out from his sleeping bag, but nothing indicating no. Izuku went to sleep after that with a lot of his classmates looking at him and the adorable cat. After a while, they finally arrived at their destination and Izuku was sadly awakened by Hitoshi. They loaded off the bus with Luna around Izuku's neck, and they all wondered why they were at a cliff, except Izuku. He already knew what was going on, don't ask how, he just does. A car pulled up next to them and two ladies dressed like cats came out and Izuku recognized them the minute they stepped out from the car. From there Izuku zoned out and didn't pay much attention to what was being said, though after a bit, he was snapped out of his thoughts by the ground shaking and the edge of the cliff breaking, leading to everyone falling, but Izuku quickly teleported himself and Hitoshi next to Aizawa out of surprise. Aizawa only sighed before turning to Izuku. You were zoning out again, weren't you? Izuku only looked away out of embarrassment. Aizawa sighed again. Izuku's gonna be the death of him. You're supposed to go down there and find the camp. You'll have to fight the earth beasts you encounter on the way. Now go before you're left behind, and Hitoshi, make sure he doesn't do anything that could put him in danger. He ruffled Izuku's hair before Izuku teleported with Hitoshi to the rest of the class. Though, when he got there he found the class fighting, according to what Aizawa had called them, earth beasts. Izuku used the shadows and broke apart the beasts that came towards him and helped Hitoshi when he had trouble. They went ahead of the class and walked towards the camp. After a while they arrived at the camp, and on their journey they didn't encounter much beasts. They had probably went after the rest of the class because of the ruckus they were causing, and Izuku was happy about that. He had no energy to deal with the beasts and he was on the brink of falling asleep then and there on Hitoshi as they rested on the ground, which is exactly what Izuku did. I want to sleep as well, but it's too noisy and hot RN. Izuku woke up to a cat licking his face, and that cat was Mimi. Everyone might as well come if you want to see me so badly, you know? Izuku said to no one in particular as he petted Mimi. I call my friend Mimi. He looked over to Hitoshi to see him sleeping and Luna was sleeping on his lap. He looked up to see Aizawa and the others had arrived, so he woke Hitoshi up, and when they came out, they looked at the two on the ground in shock, except Aizawa. How are you here already? Before us too? The one Izuku recognized as Pixie Bob asked in shock. Izuku only shrugged as he went back to playing with Mimi, said cat used her quirk on him, Hitoshi and Luna. I realized all the cats are female skull, and they started floating high in the air, but they were having fun. The others were watching and Aizawa looked done with everything. They were rudely interrupted by the rest of the class finally getting there and groaning while sweating buckets. They fell onto the floor out of exhaustion as they complained to one another. Hearing the noise, the people who were in the building came out to greet them. Before they could utter a word though, Denki noticed something. Where are Izuku and Shinso? The class then looked around to see if they could spot the two but couldn't, causing Aizawa to face palm. Look up, is all Aizawa said. The class did as told and, surprise surprise, there the two were, with two cats as well. Get down here you two. It is not hero-like to be playing around like that. Ida demanded and the begrudgingly got down. Anyway, welcome to your training camp, and if you didn't realize who we are all the cat-dressed people got into a pose, wild pussy cats. They announced and almost everyone instantly started fanboying/girling. I was having trouble with deciding whether or not I should make it kitty or pussy cats. We have prepared your food for tonight, but for the rest of the week you'll have to cook your own food. Izuku leaned onto Hitoshi, already getting tired again. That was until he saw a little boy standing next to Mandalay. He went up to the boy, squatted and stretched out his hand to give a handshake. He decided to be nice for once and not seem like a threat or whatever small kids think about these days. Hey there, I'm Izuku Aizawa, nice to meet you. Instead of getting a handshake in return, he watched the boy get ready to kick him in the balls but quickly glitched away onto a tree branch and stood there looking angry as he pointed an accusing finger at the kid. The one time I decide to be nice, you decide to try and kick me in the balls. Not cool. You could say he was overreacting, but that would have been extremely painful and he was glad he could dodge the blow. He was also glitching from the anger he expressed. Mandalay gave a nervous laugh and apologized on behalf of the kid, who Izuku found out is named Koda. Izuku glitched over to the Hitoshi and rested his head on his shoulder, trying to calm down so his quirk doesn't go haywire. Aizu here? Izuku looked up to Hitoshi to see he was handing him his phone and earphones. Izuku immediately took it and started listening to music, after saying thanks of course. Sorry about him, he struggles to contain his anger, as well as his quirk at times. Aizawa apologized to Mandalay and Koda, who was hiding behind her leg. Oh, it's fine, don't worry. Now, let's get inside. You can unpack and bathe after you eat. Without another thought, everyone runs inside, while Izuku and Hitoshi go over to Aizawa to walk with him inside. Izuku sat on the rooftop in the early morning. He hadn't gotten any sleep and didn't know what to do, so he teleported onto the roof and watched the sunrise. Hours later, he heard noise coming from inside, and he already knew that was from the pussycats waking the class. He teleported to the room the others had slept in, got his stuff and got ready for the day, already knowing what would happen. After having their breakfast, Aizawa led them to a cliffside. For today's training, we'll be improving your quirks by pushing you past your limits. Bakugou, can you throw the ball with your quirk? Aizawa threw the ball over to Katsuki and he caught it. He stepped to front before getting ready and throwing the ball with his quirk. Aizawa showed the distance device to class and they were shocked. At this point you should know that when I say class, I don't mean everyone, to see that he only threw the ball a few meters further than he did during the fitness test. You have improved everything except your quirks from the beginning of the year, so now's the chance to do so. Don't waste time. He handed each student a page of what they need to do, and finish those assignments for today. Shouts of, "Yes, sensei," went around before Pixie Bob changed the landscape and had it suit each student, and they immediately got started. As they started, Class 1B arrived and Aizawa explained why they were there and that the Pussycats are a hero team who are perfectly equipped to help every student improve. I think I messed up here, but I'm too lazy to correct it, so I'm sorry. Izuku didn't even look at his page and he started using glitch and glitched around blindly. He grew curious after some time and glitched to a wall before focusing on glitch and phasing through the wall, like the Flash. He did that a few times before deciding to move on to invisibility. He switched between invisible and visible for about an hour or so. I'm just passing time here, before getting tired. After a bit he continues and time quickly passes by and it is already dinner time, so a few students make dinner with the ingredients given to them. They then wash and go to sleep afterwards, but Izuku decided to go to the cliff he saw during training, since he didn't feel tired. He had Luna wrapped around his neck and Mimi chilling on his head. He teleported to the cliff and he sits on the ground and he looks at the view and the cats climb off of him before getting into his lap and getting comfy. It quiet for a bit and Izuku gets tired of the silence, so he thinks of a song and starts to quietly sing with his eyes closed. Izuku finished his singing with a sigh and continued his sky watching but was interrupted. "What are you doing here?" Izuku turned around to see Koda standing close to the cave. "Sky watching," is all Izuku says before turning back to the sky. "Why were you singing? I thought a hero like you wouldn't be interested in something like singing," Koda says curiously. "It's a part of one of my quirks, and shouldn't you be sleeping?" Izuku says, still looking at the sky. "This is my hiding spot," Koda says, bringing up another topic. "I don't tell anyone about it. I'm only here to look at the view since I can't sleep," Izuku said as he petted the two sleeping cats. "Why do you dislike heroes so much, Koda?" Izuku says after a bit of thought. "My parents were heroes and because of that they died," Koda said, getting loud at the end of his statement. "Well, it's nice to know your parents died as heroes. It's a tittle they'll live up to," Izuku said, feeling numb. He heard a sniffle behind him and turned to see Koda's eyes filled with tears. "Come here," Izuku said, opening his arms up, and Koda begrudgingly came over and hugged him as he got into a comfortable position on the ground. Izuku once again thought of a song and sang it, trying to calm Koda down. Izuku looked to his side to see Koda asleep and he gave a small smile at that. He then went back to watching the sky. After what Izuku said to Koda, the two of them got close and were always around each other. After another day of training, most of the class was exhausted. Though, they were filled with excitement when they were told they were all participating in a test of courage. Once they finished dinner, they got paired into groups of 2 and Izuku was sadly paired up with Katsuki while Shinso was paired up with Shoto. Koda had somehow convinced Mandalay to let him join Izuku and Luna was tagging along, changing the anime a bit. Class 1B went ahead and went into the forest after they were told what to do. Class 1A was told what they needed to do and were let into the forest right after. Katsuki walked ahead of Izuku and Koda while they just chatted to each other. That was until they were startled by two students from Class 1B, I don't remember who they were. Izuku wasn't startled by this since he had noticed them, but he gave them a nasty glare for scaring the hell out of Koda and without a word continued walking as he chatted to Koda while Katsuki was unusually quiet. They were interrupted by the smell of smoke and purple smoke. "Koda, cover your nose with your shirt," Izuku shouted, and Koda did as told. "This must be the LV's doing. I'll end them when I get my hands on them," Katsuki yelled out in anger. "Right now we need to focus on looking for the others and getting out of here. Now come on," Izuku demanded, helping Koda onto his back and taking the lead. "Don't tell me what to do, Shidi Deku," Katsuki protested but followed along. As they were walking, they heard a lot of noise coming from ahead of them and Izuku instantly knew what the cause of it was. He quickly walked forward and hid in the bushes and he finds Fumikage struggling to keep Dark Shadow controlled. Without any hesitation he puts Koda down and looks at Katsuki with a blank face, making Katsuki a bit uncomfortable by his stare. "Watch over Koda until I'm back," is all Izuku says before he walks out of the bushes and towards Dark Shadow as he gets yelled at to come back. Because of the ruckus, it gets Dark Shadow's attention. He turns around and gets ready to attack but freezes the instant he sees it's Izuku. Izuku walks forward and gently stretches his hand out to Dark Shadow. "Calm down, you're okay now," Izuku says, and Dark Shadow calms down as he puts his head against Izuku's hand, like Hiccup and Toothless Face with tears of joy. He shrinks down to his normal size and starts to repeatedly apologize to Izuku and Fumikage. "We'll talk about this later. Right now we need to get everyone out of here," Izuku explains as he gets Koda onto his back again. They were interrupted by Mizo coming out of the bushes. "Glad you got control again, Tokoyami," Mizo says. "Did Dark Shadow injure you?" Fumikage asks, noticing Mizo's injury. "No, this is from the villain that attacked us earlier," Mizo explains, making Fumicage's worries die down. "Nice to see you could make it out of there, Shoji," Izuku said, and he received a nod. "That's one hell of a awkward convo skull. Dark Shadow, I'm gonna need you to go back into your rage mode when I tell you. Try not to hurt Tokoyami in the process, that is if you're okay with it, Tokoyami," Izuku explains. "If it's to save someone, I don't mind at all," he says as he gives Dark Shadow a pet on the head and gets a nod from Izuku. "Let's get going then, and fast." They continued walking and not too long after, they came across Shoto and Hitoshi fighting off a villain. Izuku quickly reacted to this once he saw what was going on. "Dark Shadow now," he yelled, and Dark Shadow immediately did as told. The villain Moonfish was instantly taken down and Katsuki and Shoto tamed Dark Shadow using their quirks with the help of Izuku. No idea how he helped, but he did. "Izuku, are you okay?" Hitoshi asked as he frantically ran over to Izuku. "Yes, I'm okay, don't worry," Izuku said as he gave a small smile, calming Hitoshi a bit. They adventured further into the forest and found Ochako pinned to the ground by Toga. Izuku teleported to Toga's side and was about to kick her, but she dodged the blow. "Izuku-kun, why'd you attack me? That hurts my feelings, you know," Toga said in a fight stance. "What do you want from us?" Izuku said menacingly. "Is he being too harsh?" Neutral face. "We're just here to kidnap Blasty and Purple Head over there," she says excitedly. Izuku turns around to see Mr. Compress standing behind them with 2 marbles in hand. And it's a mission success. "Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta go." He then jumps onto the trees and hops away, like a bunny, with Toga running behind, but before Mr. Compress can get too far, his leg is wrapped by something and he gets pulled to the ground and has a makeout session with it. Is that being gay? "Give them back," Izuku shouts in anger as he starts glitching like crazy and punches the hell out of Mr. Compress. Kodo was given to Fumikage, just saying. He gets kicked in the stomach and gets sent back while Mr. Compress quickly takes the marbles and throw them to Dabi, don't know where he came from. Just before Dabi could grab the marble Hitoshi was in, Mizo grabbed onto it and Hitoshi was released from it, but Shoto was too late to get a hold of Katsuki and Dabi caught him, releasing him from the marble as well. "Oi," Izuku paused, "you better hand him over, you bastard," Izuku shouted but only got a chuckle in reply. "What if I say no?" Dabi questioned with a smug face, and Izuku disappears from his spot and appears in front of Dabi and punches him in the face, only to find out he was a clone, as well as Katsuki. He suddenly gets something injected into his neck and feels weak before he feels a hand tightly wrap around his neck. "We got the kid, let's go," the real Dabi announces as a portal appears behind him and close to the other villains. Dabi slowly walks into the portal as he drags Izuku in, and the last thing Izuku sees before he blacks out is Hitoshi running towards him. Izuku woke up to a run-down-looking bar with his hands chained together and attached to the wall. As he analyzed the room, he noticed Katsuki knocked out in a chair that he was chained to, and he had a muzzle on. Is that what it's called? "Katsuki! Katsuki, wake up!" Izuku shouted as quietly as he could, and seconds later, Katsuki woke up. "Ichimhumph?" Katsuki shouted. "Would you shut up?" Izuku said in anger. You're awake?" Shigaraki said. The rest of the Lav came into the room and gathered around the two. "What do you want from us, Shigaraki?" Izuku hissed. "I'm the one in control here, so you better behave, you brat," Shigaraki demanded. Izuku only glared and got a kick to the stomach, but he only chuckled. "I've gone through worse," he said with a grin, making Shigaraki even more mad. After a moment of silence, Shigaraki calmed down. "Take the muzzle off him twice," Shigaraki told. Why me?" Twice questioned. "Just do it, would you?" Twice hesitantly took the muzzle off Katsuki as he glared at him. "I have an offer for you." Katsuki only glared at him. "Join the League of Villains?" Silence went through the bar before Izuku bursted out laughing, catching everyone's attention. "What are you laughing about?" Shigaraki questioned angrily. "He's been dreaming about becoming the #1 hero since diapers. What makes you think he'll change his mind now?" Izuku said in between his gasps of laughter. "Well, we'll just have to convince him. But for now, my master's been wanting to meet you." Izuku immediately froze hearing that. "Oh, do you know who my master is?" "With your reaction it seems like you do," Shigaraki said with a sheet-eating grin. "Why wouldn't I know your master is all for one?" Izuku said, loud enough for people close to him to hear, for example, Katsuki. "What does he want from me?" Izuku asked, serious. "Oh, no idea, but it's none of my business," Shigaraki explained before turning to Katsuki. "Untie him," Shigaraki ordered. "You do it twice," Dabi said. "Hell no, if you say so." Twice then went up to Katsuki and started unlocking the locks, but was kicked back and Katsuki hit the hand on Shigaraki's face off and onto the floor. "No way in hell will I ever become a villain. I'll be the greatest #1 hero you've ever seen, and I'll kick your ass," Katsuki announced confidently. "What did I tell ya?" Izuku said smugly, getting a kick to the face. "Shut up, rat. I'll deal with you later," Shigaraki said grinning, until they heard a doorbell. "Pizza delivery." Toga gasped at that. "You ordered pizza?" The wall was then smashed through by All Might and the heroes ran in and captured the villains. "Young Bakugou, young Aizawa. I'm glad you two are okay," All Might shouted. "Yeah, I don't have a bruise on my face at all," Izuku mumbled under his breath, but Katsuki managed to hear it. All of a sudden, all the villains including Katsuki and Izuku started coughing before a black ooze came out their mouths and surrounded them before they disappeared into thin air. All Might shouted in anger before zooming out of the building. Izuku landed on the hard ground in a coughing fit. Once he calmed down, he saw that he was in a destroyed area in Kamino. "I think that's the place, correct me please," and that Katsuki and the Lav were there as well, including All for One. "Master!" Shigaraki shouted, surprised upon his master's presence. "I see you failed to escape from the heroes," All for One said with an overwhelming aura. "I'm sorry I failed, master." Shigaraki apologized with his head down and All for One patted him on the head. "As long as this doesn't happen again." To this, Shigaraki raised his head with determination. "Of course. I'll make sure of that." Izuku slowly moved over to Katsuki but was quickly stopped by a burning gaze. "Izuku Aizawa," All for One said. Izuku slowly turned around and got grabbed by his hair and lifted off the ground. "I'll be taking your quirks now as they would be a valuable asset for the future," he said, grinning and activating his quirk as he slowly ripped Izuku's quirks away, and Izuku could do nothing but try to fight him. Katsuki used his quirk and shot himself towards AFO, but he was thrown to the ground. "Don't even try. You can't lay a finger on me because you're weak," FO said as he continued what he was doing, but he was interrupted by All Might coming at him at full speed. "All for one." All Might roared. All Might, why don't we finish what we started?" He dropped Izuku onto the ground and Katsuki swiftly caught him. He hadn't taken all his quirks just yet. With that, All Might and AFO started to fight each other while the LOV surrounds Izuku and Katsuki. "Deku! Oi, wake up!" Katsuki yelled desperately, and Izuku did as told, causing Katsuki to let out a relieved sigh. "You're okay, we just need to get out of here." Katsuki mumbled. "Where do you think you're going?" Dabi said from behind. "We're getting the hell out of here," Katsuki said, putting Izuku on his back. "You're not going anywhere." Shigaraki yelled as he charged towards them, and out of panic, Izuku shadow leaped the both of them behind a wall to find Momo, Tenya, Shoto and Ijiro. "What are you extras doing here?" Katsuki yelled and was immediately shushed by the group. "We came to save you too. Also, is Izuku okay?" Momo asked worriedly. "He's okay but weak. AFO might have been able to take his quirks." Gasps went around the group. That was when Izuku got off of Katsuki and looked towards where All Might and AFO were battling. "Deku, don't even think about it. It's dangerous," Katsuki said, walking over to Izuku. "Katsuki's right, you should rest," Todoroki said, trying to reason with Izuku. Without a word, Izuku ran towards the battle and used shadows to restrain the LOV before turning to AFO. Izuku quickly restrained AFO, giving All Might an opportunity, and he gladly took it and used his ultimate move. Is it really his ultimate move? United States of Smash. And for extra measures and revenge, Izuku pierced AFO with a spike of shadows and AFO was defeated. Izuku looked around to see the LOV still in the restraints, AFO laying on the ground unmoving, and All Might lifting his hand up to point to the camera in his skinny form. Without noticing it, Shigaraki had gotten out of the restraints and ran towards Izuku. "You'll pay for that, you brat." Izuku turned around, but he was too late. Out of the blue, Izuku's cats came to the rescue. "What am I doing at this point right now?" Kiki used Black Whip and punched Shigaraki in the face, and he was pushed back. All the cats ran after Shigaraki in anger as they attack him left and right. Izuku gave a small smile at seeing his cats before getting a wave of exhaustion, and right at that moment Katsuki grabbed onto Izuku and stopped him from plummeting to the ground. "You should get to the medics," Katsuki said, already leading him to the medics to see Aizawa running in their direction. "Izuku, are you okay? Are you hurt?" Before Izuku could answer, Aizawa hugged him with a tight grip. "Don't you ever do that again?" Aizawa demanded, to which Izuku nodded to. Izuku was then checked on and fell asleep at some point, and when he woke up, he found himself in a sleeping bag in his room with Aizawa, Hitoshi and Hizashi in their sleeping bags, the moment you've been waiting for, scattered around and on his bed with the cats, causing him to crack up a small smile before going back to sleep. Years later, Izuku is now an underground hero like Aizawa. He and Katsuki were once again friends. Izuku only has one quirk, which is shadow manipulation, but he doesn't mind that at all, and Inko was finally arrested for her crimes. He also has kittens waiting for him at home. Themed. No one's POV. Izuku woke up excited because it was the day he would find out what his quirk is.
Okay, sadly the chapter is over. And if you enjoyed the video, just leave a like and subscribe with post notification, so when the next chapter is ready, you will be notified. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye.